So let's just start. Like it's 3 a.m. for me, so
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
I might wake up during the podcast instead of going to sleep.
But yeah, I told you,
Uh,
like I said, you could always wait until Friday.
no, it's fine. It's fine. So please tell the people who you are and what you do.
My name is. Oh, hold on. IAreZack. I'm IAreZack, and I make dumb videos online.
You are
Sometimes they're
Zach.
sketches, sometimes they're commentary videos.
You are Zach. That's a good name.
Yes.
All right.
IAreZack.
Yeah, I don't
People
know.
get mad when I don't introduce myself as that.
I just call you Zach all the time. Again,
Yeah.
I never refer
Yeah,
to you.
it's easiest.
Yeah, or like you could be like an IAZ, like when you shorten a word, what it's called.
The initials
Yeah, the initials IAZ,
are
but that doesn't sound good. It sounds weird.
no.
Can I call you
I've
Zach?
actually always wondered this. Like, if yes, I prefer that.
Good.
It's always been weird because I don't know if I ever do become successful at YouTube,
You
if
will.
somebody's just gonna walk up on the street like be like, "Hey, you're IAreZack," and it's like you could just call me Zach. Like, you don't gotta say the IR part. Like, it's excessive.
Yeah, there's one guy called the Gamatron Show, and his real name is Ryan, and I
Yeah.
think he's regretting his name, his YouTube name. And I'm like, just change it. Like nobody will care.
Yeah, I mean, like, Brittany's changed her name like 20 times since we've known her.
Blurry has changed his name every week.
Yeah, Blurry changes I've literally made a joke about that. I'm like in my Discord, I was like, yeah, big shout out to Blurry, Blurface, whatever you want to call him. He changes
Yeah,
his name
I just
constantly.
call him Blurry. That's just like, yeah. My name is very simple.
Yeah,
It's Carl Lucas. It's like either call me Lucas or call me Carl. And I know
yeah,
Carl is like a meme name and it's like a very old white man's name. But I like it. I like my name.
it's just like you gotta lean into it. You gotta
Yeah,
like start walking around in like suspenders and stuff,
yeah.
and like your pants pulled up all the way up to your belly button.
Yeah, I do that already. So I might be just an old white man, even though I'm black. But whatever.
Yeah, you're Snow White man now.
All right. Do you have a topic? Because I asked you, you said no topic. It could be just a random podcast because almost most of the times the guest has a topic they want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, like we could talk about like commentary. We could talk about like I have a couple different ones that are very interesting. So just like the state of commentary in YouTube and also the state of sketch comedy in YouTube, because I do both of those things, and they're both kind of in a weird spot right now. So commentary is kind of seen as kind of getting stale and kind of becoming more of a worse thing as time goes on. Like people are starting to get kind of like a bad taste in the mouth about commentary. And ever since Filthy Frank left, sketch comedy has been kind of in a weird spot because people are too scared to go too dark with it or too edgy with it because they don't want to get taken down.
Yeah.
So like either one of those topics is like I can talk all day about.
I think well here like we can talk about this, but here's what I think. Commentary is not going to go anywhere. It's like when a genre has established itself, there will always be content for it. Like in cinema, for example.
Yeah.
You people say the Western is dead, but yet Quentin Tarantino every now and again brings a Western out. Like people say sci-fi is dead.
Django.
Yeah, Django, like or The Hateful Eight, like every now and again films like that come out. People say I don't know, voyeurist films are dead. Like every now and again, a voyeurist film comes out. Like it's not like it's dying or dead or stale. It's just like it takes for you to do something new. It takes some time. And recently, the commentary community has gone through this cancel culture thing. So basically, people got immediately like. I talked this about with Craig Beckett yesterday, literally yesterday. On a podcast, it will be like a week, or several weeks. But we talked about this. The Zlaza situation, the peanut butter game, peanut butter. How's the guy called? Whatever. The Zlaza situation and his name was on my tongue. Whatever. The guy that does D&D and all the old star games. they got canceled by a group of people
Yeah.
that want to cancel him. Turns out, oh well, everything was a lie. I was like, or at least it wasn't as it was presented. And it's like, yeah, the commentary community has gone through this being too internet justice mentality. Now it's going back where everyone is fearing to say anything, to point out shit. So I think it's like a pendulum. Like, it's getting stale because people are trying to be as safe as possible and not pointing fingers where they know, okay, something could be wrong. The other one was the makeup YouTuber. I forgot his name.
Oh, James Charles.
James Charles, and the other one was I forget his name.
James Charles, Jeffree Star.
Yeah, Jeffrey. It was the James Charles thing, and then with the normal boots guy.
No idea who that is.
I forgot his name. Oh.
I always you add like a sound clip. Yeah. In editing, in post. Added in post.
Pro Jared. There you go. Pro Jared.
Pro Jared. Oh yeah.
So
Pro Jared.
Slazo, Pro Jared, Jeffree Star,
the guy
and
who sent his dick everywhere.
All of them like was back to back, you know. Pro Jared, Jeffree Star, and then Slazo, like one after the other, and mainly pushed by the commentary community. You know, those topics were mainly pushed by the commentary community. So what happened is like people wanted to find the next big thing that they could latch on, and I think they got a little bit too internet justicey, like Reddit sometimes likes to do. And they burned themselves, and that's what happened. Like, now people are trying to be as safe as possible, and I think slowly the commentary community has turned into boulevard press, basically. What basically most commentary YouTubers hated, like press that is just talks about if the queen dressed with the same dress 2 times or something like that. That's considered news now, like for the commentary community, and I think that's the problem. Like, they're trying to be safe as possible. You cannot find a super hot topic every day, and that's I think
it's impossible.
Yeah, but someone like
I think it's 100%.
Yeah, and someone like Craig Beckett, for example, he just goes back into stuff that is doing already. Like, he talked about the dark web video, dark web box unboxing, whatever. That's still going on. It's still a thing, you know. He just go back to stuff that is actually still going on. Like, people forget that these types of content just doesn't go away because we've talked about it once. So that's my whole point. Like, it's not getting stale, but people are forgetting that the things that they talk about, they are not new. They're not old news. They are still relevant.
Yeah. Like, it's 100% like commentary channels. They have to stay on the grind. They have to release videos to keep up with YouTube with YouTube's algorithm. So like, they'll start talking about crap that they don't necessarily care about, or they'll start spreading misinformation just because they heard it from somebody. So a good one example of that is I'm Alex. Like, he had I think 5 videos out about James Charles when that whole thing happened. So like every day he would have a video about James Charles, and it would just filled with like so much of repetitiveness where he was just covering the same thing he's already talked about, and just misinformation also. And it's because they're trying to keep on that grind. So it's like we're talking about Reddit, where it's like Reddit will attack somebody without having the full information and end up doing a bunch of damage. It's like commentary communities are doing the exact same thing, but not because Reddit, or not for the same reasons as Reddit, because I don't think that too many commentary channels care about social justice. I think they care more about their audience and trying to keep the YouTube algorithm happy and trying to get that release schedule, like the weekly release schedule going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree to a certain extent, and I think the problem is I see that many times with many communities. You build out a community that is that lives upon this new stuff. You know, they live upon the story, not upon you. So people follow IAreZack because of the stories, not ultimately because of him, I think. So as soon as his big news dies down, he goes back to nothing. That would be my point.
We say nothing, but still, I would kill for his views on his
of course. But like, comparison to himself, like comparing his himself as not comparing to each other. Of course, like, I think everybody would like to have this viewership and people that watch you constantly because they like you. But What was one of the other guys? Fainted, I think. Let me pull it up. Fainted was the guy that covered the story about Pokimane, where I think she struck a few videos, and then PewDiePie covered it, and from there, Fainted got on one of the videos, million views, and then blew up basically. But then if you look at his channel now, it's like, oh, okay, you have almost more than 500,000 subscribers, but you get barely 100k views on videos. It's like 10% of your viewership. It's like, oh, that's not the greatest thing. And I think when you grew up, like, or when you grow as a creator based on stories, people tend to just be dad subs, and that can hurt your channel to a certain extent, I think.
I mean, like I think even as small as like 1,000 subscribers, you still have dead subs. I mean,
yeah.
The viewership between one of my commentary videos and one of my sketch videos is crazy. So like, when I upload a commentary video, I'll get like maybe 200 views, even though I have 1,000 subscribers. But when I upload a sketch video, I'll get like 10,000 views.
That's it's so weird sometimes. One of the things that I also find weird is, why can't I contact my subs directly? Because I don't know if they're getting notifications. I don't know.
You can't even see who they are.
Most of people I can see who they are. Like, that's so weird. One of the things that was annoying me is, like, I don't know if they even know that my video is out. Like, I can't contact them directly. Like, I have no access to my community tab as well, because I'm not above 1k. So I don't even know. I can't talk to them. It's so it's weird. Crazy. So the only reason
I think that's why.
No, please.
I think that's why Discord and Twitter is so big with creators, is because it's easier to get a hold of our audience with Discord or Twitter.
Yeah.
So like I had an instance, like my most recent video got blocked in like every country but America.
Because
so like,
well, not so was it a fully video?
Yeah, it didn't, like, not literally every country, but like I think it was 90% of countries it got blocked in, and so I had to go to my Discord and tell my audience, like, hey, this isn't going to pop up on your guys' notifications screen, but go download the VPN if you'd like to watch this video, because you're not going to be able to watch it in your country.
Yeah, I think yesterday, Craig Beckett and me, we shit on YouTube and a bunch of stuff that we dislike about the stuff we like to use. As a channel, I would like to know who everyone is subscribed to me, and I would like the ability to chat with them, to at least contact them and say at least once, or like, it's so weird. And that's why, like, I'm trying to build the Twitter and build like also a mailing list, because otherwise there's no way to know if the people are actually receiving the stuff.
Yeah, 100%. That's why it is cool to have Twitter and Discord, because like YouTube is like lacking that. They massively dropped the ball on that. Especially if you have under 1k, because like people over 1k, like I can go make a post like, hey, I'm doing the video, go check it out. But if YouTube isn't sending out those videos, and if YouTube isn't sending out that community message, then nobody will ever see that. So it's pointless.
I do notice myself, like, I don't know, like I stopped like caring about views, because I know like it's small, but at the same time, it's like you have to care to a certain extent, right? Like, you want people to watch your stuff. That's why you're doing it as well. It's not only you doing it for yourself. Of course, that's a part of it, but it's only a part of it. One part of it is also you want people to watch it. And if you have no control over this stuff, and you basically have no possible way to contact the people that actually subscribe to you, it's weird. And that's the thing, right? You have this notification thing that you have to turn on for stuff. But shouldn't I, as a creator, have the ability to look at all my subscribers, because they subscribe to me? They want to watch my stuff, right? Like, this is an active step they took. So I should have the ability to contact them and say, hey, look, I released something.
It's very strange, but at the same time, it's like, the cast of The Big Bang Theory can't come to your house and be like, or call you and be like, hey, have you seen that new episode yet? Like, what's up with that?
But I
So
didn't sub to
I can kind
them.
of see it on two ends.
But I didn't sub to
Yeah,
them.
I'm saying like if you did though.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that
saying
makes sense.
like if you did. So like so and the person they're subscribed to, because
Yeah.
who's like, okay, so for instance, going back to this pro Jared thing, like if the allegations are true with him and he is kind of creepy and he's kind of like scummy with women, that would allow him to be able to go through his subscriber base and find the women that he liked and message them personally and
Okay.
hit on them and be all gross and creepy. So I get it from both ends. Like I would love to be able to send out like a chat to my subscribers as a whole, where they all can see it and we can all talk and they can comment and stuff. But at the same time, I don't think it'd be
there's a danger
cool
at
to
the
be
same
able to
time.
message them. Yeah, it's kind of dangerous. Yeah.
On the other hand, I also want to actually have the ability to unsub people from my stuff. You know, people that haven't watched. Yeah, people that haven't watched my stuff for half a year or a year. I want them gone. They're dead subs to me. Like I don't want them in a thing because they're not gonna watch it. They're just lingering around and doing nothing basically. And I'm sorry for like being like ungrateful, but no, it's like this is just I want this number to be accurate. So if people are not watching my stuff but they just subbed, like go away. That would be I would like the ability to get rid of subs. You know, clean my sub box, but I don't have that as well. So that I would think would be a good ability to have.
Yeah, so it's like a mass delete button. It's like delete everybody who hasn't watched a video in 6 months.
Yeah,
like unsubscribe.
I don't know, something like that, because YouTube does that already. You know, they have the tool is already there. Like they do it already, getting rid of dead subs and dead accounts. Yeah. So for me to having this ability would be actually better. Like I think as a YouTuber you have way too you have not enough control over your own channel. I remember YouTube. 100%. I remember YouTube where you could even customize your own page. You know, everything looked super clean. Like it's like you could have your own page and it looked cool and the whole page was customizable. And now it's like corporate thing. It's this corporate style and everything looks equal. Do you remember a time where YouTube looked completely different? You know?
Yeah, I didn't get into YouTube until about 2011.
Okay.
That's when I started watching YouTube. So, but I do remember when you could like have a completely different background where it was almost like MySpace.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit to where you could like customize a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
that was definitely cool.
Yeah, maybe this is a little bit nostalgia, but it's like, you feel like it's yours in comparison to now. It feels like it's like you are just it's an office space basically. This is an office space, and then you put a picture on the wall, basically.
Yeah, it's almost exactly what it is, and like they've become very corporatized. Yeah. That's really unfortunate because it like not only with the tools that we have because we don't have jack shit for tools, but with their regulations now too. So we can't do anything on the back end. We can't look at the stuff that we want to look at, and then we also can't make the content that we want to make. So like YouTube daily almost YouTube is becoming a worse and worse place to be at. But unfortunately there's no place like it also. Like we can't go to like Vimeo because Vimeo kind of sucks. So
yeah, try to break YouTube's monopoly. Good luck with that.
Yeah, like it's not happening. But like it's a weird thing because like you don't want to seem ungrateful because it's like it's crazy to be able to upload a video and just the whole internet can come find it if you obviously if they want to.
Yeah.
So it's like it's definitely like a weird thing, but at the same time, like when I put in fucking so much effort into a video and learn how to light myself on fire only for it to get taken down immediately, yeah, that pisses me off.
It is kind of ungrateful to a certain extent, but at the same time, it's like they are profiting off of you. You know, like this website is based on people uploading stuff for free and building a gigantic audience. You know, let's not forget that. Like without us, even like I'm talking about everyone that is started at some point. Without us, there would be no YouTube because corporations can't do that.
100%.
Corporations have to adhere to so many laws that it would have paralysis. They couldn't create stuff like every week or every day. in comparison to us. We're doing like stuff on a budget string, you know, like it's a small budget, it's very quick and fast, and we have to cut a lot of stuff in comparison to corporations that have to go through processes. It takes years and years to develop a simple show. So yes, it is a kind of ungrateful, but at the same time, it's like, to a certain extent, people that you're creating YouTube videos, they are employees of YouTube. Of course, it's like nobody likes to make the comparison, but it is basically you are an YouTube employee, but you have no control over your workspace.
Yeah, I mean, like the employee is like, it's like a weird comparison because it's, yeah, we have to abide by their rules and we make a bunch of money, but at the same time, it's like they're the worst employer and the best employer at the same time, because we're allowed to make whatever we want to make, but we have so much restrictions. So it's like they're like you can make whatever you want to make. Just don't make it too targeted to kids. Just don't make it too adult. So, but other than that, just whatever you want to make.
I mean, I mentioned this I think a few times, but if people would stop censoring themselves, so everybody would say fuck, cunt, and whatever, YouTube would have no chance to just allow it. But unfortunately, people don't have they can't hold their breaths. You know, the same idea with everyone not uploading for a week or something like that. Like, but that's like it just takes one person to upload something, and then the whole plan goes bust. So if everyone would continue using the swear words without censoring themselves, it would be fine. But you know, who has the monopoly? YouTube, of course. If there was an employer-employee relationship, employers couldn't just make rules, you know, out of the blue. But it's not how it is right now. Like, YouTube is considered still a company and using their service, basically. But that's not how it is. You are an employee of Google, basically. But the rules change like from one day to the other.
Almost like we're more like freelancers. So it's almost like we're not necessarily full-on employees, but we're freelancers. So that way we have more restrictions than regular employees.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But also like a freelancer, you cannot just when you have a 1-year contract for a freelancer, you cannot change a rule in the middle of his contract. It's like making a contract and saying, we're gonna change the contract, bye, or we're gonna cut your pay in half. Like, well, what? Wait. This is my contract was a different one. So yeah, I get the point, you know, that people want to get away from this comparison, but unfortunately, YouTube does this on purpose. They don't want to be seen as an employee, but they are kind of. They are. Like they want to hold. They want to keep this this relationship with YouTubers, that they are their friends, and at the same time they want to hold the possibility to screw everyone and manipulate the system however they want without telling you anything, and you having no choice. That's how it is.
And they constantly do it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's weird. I don't ever know, like when you watch my commentary videos, I don't ever like to jump to conclusions without having more knowledge on topics, and especially when it comes to somebody's actions or a company's actions. So I don't want to come out and just be like, even though it completely 100% seems like this, I don't want to come out and be like, YouTube cares nothing about its creators. YouTube sucks dick. YouTube.
I think it's incompetence. I don't think it's malice.
Yeah. So like, I don't want to come out and say that YouTube doesn't care, because I don't know if YouTube doesn't care, and I don't want to spread misinformation. But at the same time, it really seems like they don't care.
I mean,
if that makes sense.
Even if they did care, what they're doing is something else. So it could be that the employees at Google, they do care, but what they're doing is not showing that. So yeah, like, it's incompetence. They're, like you were saying. So like then there's also a business, so that they're trying to make money.
They're trying to appease both sides and make money, because they want to appease the advertisers, but they also want to try to keep the creators happy.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, since it's in their eyes that the money isn't coming from us, the money is coming from the advertisers.
Yeah.
They're putting the advertisers' priorities above ours.
The weird thing is that YouTube has a monopoly, basically, and they don't need to adhere to any rule, basically. They have a longer breath. They can just say, well, if you don't want swear words, tough luck. Well, a creator's gonna do it. that's what like I see your point. Like they want to make money and they want to appease advertisers, but they don't need to. Like advertisers gonna have to follow YouTube's rules actually, but they are for some weird reason bowing down every time. Like you have monopoly on video on user created video on demand content. Nobody can reach you and nobody will reach you. Why not just make your own rules?
Because big corporations don't see the power that YouTube has because they're still stuck in old media.
Yeah.
They don't realize how much influence creators have. So like I mean we saw that with the Adpocalypse. After the whole thing with the Adpocalypse, Coke and Pepsi and all these people pulled out from YouTube.
Yeah, for a week.
And creators lost so much money. Yeah. And creators lost so much money for the Adpocalypse. So like unfortunately these dumb companies don't realize that if they just advertise on people who cuss every now and then, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But they want to seem brand friendly. They want to seem family friendly so they can sell more shit because these big companies have no idea how the world works anymore because they're boomers.
Well, yeah, that's probably true. I never understood this whole you can't show a nipple, but at the same time you have in official advertisements or movies like even news that show people dying. Like before that, you have a Coke ad. I'm like, is this for real? Like a creator can show that, but like, yeah, come on. Like it's so like,
yeah, dude, you're definitely preaching to the choir.
Yeah, but it's so
like how many Nickelodeon shows or how many Disney shows have you seen where a character gets lit on fire? They get lit on fire and they're running across the screen, and then right after that scene, like a freaking Coke or Pepsi commercial plays or a freaking Lego commercial plays.
Yep.
And then, but no, I light myself on fire in the same exact way, and then I'm not advertiser friendly, and I get my video taken down. It's
so dumb.
It's weird. It's a weird double standard that we have. We have to be way more friendly.
You have a Patreon?
I do have a Patreon.
Okay, go to IAreZack's Patreon. Give him money. Like I
don't.
One of the things that that I think many creators have said, and I think one of the guys that does this completely is Jim Sterling, for example. He's completely fan funded. He has never relied on YouTube, and I think people should wake up to that. Like, even if you can make money off YouTube, never rely on that. Like, from the beginning, try to be as independent as possible. Because, like I said, YouTube is basically an employee, is the best and worst employee ever, and they don't. Not that I don't even know if they don't care. I just think it's just incompetence. They don't know better. And I think they can make more money if they employ those rules. So yeah, be as independent as possible. So yeah, go.
It's always weird because like every creator you talk to is always like iffy on the whole Patreon thing. Like it just feels weird.
Nope.
Taking money for just making things that you love.
No.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, if this is a job that I want to do, then I need to be able to make a living off of it, so I can do better things and more things.
I mean, I have been doing videos for a year every week, so I feel comfortable for taking someone's money because I know I can make a video every week. So if someone is happy with that, I'll say, yep, if you're willing to give me $1 a month, I will happily take that to support my content. You know, it's like,
I'm more like to do merch. Even though merch is more expensive, I like doing merch because I put a lot of work into designing it and making it look cool. So like I feel like they're not necessarily just paying me because they like me. I feel like they're paying for a cool shirt design or something.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, someone like Elvis the Alien.
That way, I feel a little better.
Someone like Elvis the Alien, for example, he does also like stuff, merch. But his merch is like not YouTube branded. His merch is just like cool looking shirts, and I think you're the same. Like,
yeah, 100%. I know exactly who you're talking about. And he's got like some dope shirts. He's got some like dope art. Like I even like look up artists myself. Like I follow a few smaller artists that I like on Instagram. So when I get more money, I can go up to them and be like, hey, can I pay you for some shirt designs? So because I really want my stuff to look good. Like I want people to want to buy it and want to wear it, not because they want to support me, just because it looks cool.
Yeah, it's like art that is something that they could also buy at the store, like normally. I get it. Yeah,
like my 1K shirt, the sunflower shirt that I have for the 1K subscribers. like I just really liked that design, so I made it as cheap as possible. Like I literally make like 50 cents off of each shirt that's sold,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still like $25 because Teespring sucks. Teespring is awful.
The sunflower shirt looks fucking awesome. I would buy that actually. Like I have t-shirts that look like this.
Yeah, that's the idea. Is I wanted to design actual clothing and not merch.
Yeah.
Like so many YouTubers have just their name on the front of the shirt, and
Yeah.
that's it.
That's so lame.
Yeah, and like if it makes them happy, that's fine. But I wanted something more. I wanted something that somebody could go out and be proud of and like and actually want to have. Kind of like Teddy Fresh,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Teddy Fresh started off almost like merch. Like the first people who bought Teddy Fresh were definitely H3 fans, but now it's like its own clothing line. Like people buy Teddy Fresh just because it looks dope.
Yeah. I mean that's the idea, right? Like instead of making just your name on your shirt that it could do in 5 minutes, you do something that that is not connected to your brand. That people can wear outside of the brand recognition. But if someone knows, they are like an insider. If someone sees that shirt, they're gonna see,
Exactly.
oh, that's a IAreZack fan.
Yeah. So like it's like the Sadass shirt has the wet toaster on it. It's like anybody else who sees that, they have no idea. They're like, why is that toaster dripping? But somebody who sees my videos and who's seen this shirt before is like, oh, that's hilarious. That's
Yeah.
Sadass.
I get it. We were talking about this in the Twitter DMs that you mentioned. You are actually in real life a very chipper person, but for the content you make, it's like sad and depressing. And I'm directly the opposite. Like I
Yeah.
seem more calm and chipper and collected on my videos, even though on the podcast it changes. But in real life, I'm a very angry, sad person. So like it seems that the internet does something to you that I don't know. I think Craig Brackett explained it to me like you don't want to show your real side. So for the videos, you change it up. So you basically create this persona. Of course, on a podcast, it's impossible to do it because you cannot hide your personality for an hour or two. So it will eventually come out.
Yeah, definitely. It's like I used to do these videos called Shitty Tour Reviews. They're all taken down now, but that was 100% a persona. Like I would put on this like asshole persona, like very much like an iDubbbz clone, and that was just because I didn't know how to be myself on camera yet. And Sadass is like a little bit different. Like I'm not putting on like an act or anything like that. It's just meant to be funny. So like people think like, oh, he's making suicide jokes, he must be depressed. It's like, not really. Like I have been in my life like everybody else has, but like my day to day, like I'm not depressed. I just make what I think is funny.
You look you look happy in those videos. Like I know I watched it recently again because I think they're funny. Like you're smiling basically in those videos. And like, okay, yeah. I can see that. I can see that. Like you're having fun shooting those things.
Yeah, it's also like when I am having fun shooting those things, but also it's like I have made an effort to smile and to seem happy in it because it's a parody of Jackass.
Yeah.
Always, and so like my attitude and my demeanor is very much trying to be Johnny Knoxville or Steve or Bam or somebody. And also it's also kind of funnier to see somebody who's happy commit suicide. It's like it's very it's like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
It's like I'm smiling while dunking a toaster in the bathtub.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about this comedy thing, like that people like seem to have like a line? And I think I said this before, but I don't have a line. I think everything can be joked on. Like where I come from in Germany, the word Nazi is actually an actual insult. If you call someone that, you're insulting them. It's like it's like the N-word in America. But somehow, for some reason, in America, people use it so laissez-faire, like so freely. I'm like, oh, I feel uncomfortable with that. But they don't realize that there's no line for me. I don't give a fuck what they say. So for me, there's no line. You can joke about everything. And you should joke about everything because the only reason to get over, bad stuff is like laughing about it. And, I have friends that they have gone through shit. And the only way to get through that is like laughing and making fun of it, because in face of such horrible situations, to get rid of this sadness, the only way is to make fun of it, to take away the power of this depressing oppression, basically. So yeah, I for me there is no line. But what do you think about it? Like a lot of people say, oh, some things you can joke about.
I think that anything can be joked about. It's just the tastefulness of it. So, like, there's bad jokes and there's good jokes, and a bad joke about a touchy subject can be extremely offensive, but a good joke about a touchy subject can be hilarious. So, like, I don't think that anything is off limits, but I think that unless you're a good comedian, you probably shouldn't be joking about, like, rape jokes and stuff like that. Like, Dave Chappelle has rape jokes in his new stand-up specials, and they're hilarious. Like his Bill Cosby jokes are just like the funniest shit ever. But when James Gunn makes some pedophile jokes on Twitter, the only reason those people were mad about those is because they're bad jokes. Like, if they were actually funny, then nobody would have cared. But they got onto them because they were shitty jokes. They're just dumb.
I see. I can see that. Like, shitty joke being like when there is no joke. Basically, for example, when the punchline is the person is fat or the person is gay, then it's not a funny joke. It's just like, okay, the punchline was the person is X. But when you make a joke that has gay or fat as a subject and it's funny, then nobody would care.
Exactly. So, like, it's a good way to do this is, like, make the joke about how ridiculous this is, about how ridiculous the idea of it is. So, like, Dave Chappelle's joke, for example, was the whole he rapes but he saves thing. So like he made this like superhero in his head where he goes around saving hundreds of people, but he can only get his power if he rapes somebody. And so like the ridiculousness of it is what makes it funny, like the concept of it. And it's the same thing, similar with Sadass. Like, Sadass isn't funny because I'm killing myself. Sadass is funny is because of how ridiculously I'm doing it. Like, I'm happy while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing it. I'm going like to bigger and bigger extremes. It's like I'm doing it on camera. It's like the punchline isn't that I'm dying. The punchline is how I'm dying.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
The punchline is not suicide.
So,
the punchline is the character.
Yeah, and a lot of people get that confused. A lot of people will comment on my Reddit posts and be like, "Suicide's not funny." I'm like, I know. Like, suicide is a very sad thing, but like, if you saw a dude dunking a toaster in the bath, it's kind of funny because the joke's not suicide. The joke is how it's happening.
Yeah. I get that. Like, okay, yeah. But even bad jokes, I would say, like, they can exist, and for me, they wouldn't be. I'm of this mentality of that offense can only be taken, given. So nobody can give you offense. Like, if I call your name, it shouldn't do anything. The only way that manifests itself is if you take it. I can say some horrible shit towards you, but if you don't, realize or do not accept it, then it's just a waste of air. Nobody's harmed. Yeah. So for me, it's like
an easier way.
Yeah, like for me, it's
an easier way to say that is people just need to toughen up. People need to stop being such babies about stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I completely agree.
Yeah. I agree to a certain extent. I don't think it's always it's always like it's very nuanced. I don't think it's always that way. You can still offend someone, but for that you have to know that person very intimately. Like, you have to know their weakness. That there are things that would hurt me, but they don't. If someone calls me the N-word because of my skin color, I won't care. But if someone makes fun of, for example, of my accent constantly, because I'm very very well aware of that, then that might hurt me, but that's like, you have to know which words I'm conscious about, like what I care. Like, you have to know me personally to offend me, and that's I think the difference. You can still offend someone, but not like people say, oh, you said the N-word, or you said bitch, or you said cunt. Like, these are not offenses. These are like random words that people use as a slur. That's it. That's how I see it.
It's like, it's definitely like you said, like, very nuanced. It's like the N-word is where it gets kind of like muddy for me, because it's something that I think can be very offensive. It's to people, and definitely, especially
it's very
in America, 100%. Yeah,
it's America centric.
Yeah, but people also got to remember that there's people who are still alive that weren't allowed to be people, that weren't legally people.
Well, in Asia there are slaves. In China there are slaves.
Yeah, I'm sure whatever China's version of the N-word is would offend a lot of people there.
Yeah, of course.
So like, and there's definitely people in the Black community that don't see the N-word as anything bad. Like, my roommate Jagger, for instance, believes that people should just be allowed to say it, that there shouldn't be a double standard.
Well,
But
I see it both ways, right? If the N-word is not allowed for anyone, then it's if allowed for people, then it should be allowed for anyone, and not even ever as a joke. Like if I'm between my black friends, I shouldn't be able to say it. That's my point. But if this constant double standard, oh, I'm black, I can say it, that would be bad. I think that's stupid. I think that's like, oh, I can say it because I have a certain skin color. Isn't that what you're exactly fighting against? You know, you don't want that people are treated differently because of their skin color? Isn't that like the point?
It's definitely like an oxymoron. Yeah, it's kind of like an oxymoron. My whole thing is like saying it like okay, any white kid, American kid out there that says they haven't ever said the N-word is a liar. We've all said the N-word at least one time. They're lying. And so yeah, so when I had used it before, like in a rap song or something, like I was just like, this just makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't like it. So for me, it's my personal choice not to use it, even though like I said, one of my best friends, Jagger, like it would be perfectly okay with me using it around him. He wouldn't care. But for me, it's my personal choice, and I think that's
man, rappers,
a lot of Americans.
Rappers putting the N-word in their songs are just straight up idiots. To be honest, like holy. How can it be so stupid? Like you are influencing the youth, right? Like not only black, every youth. Like rap is not black centric music; it's like for everyone. But rappers putting the N-word in their rap songs is like, you are not doing, you abusing your power. Like stop using that. And then I see that sometimes when rappers then bring people on stage and they have the N-word in their songs. And then suddenly the white person says the N-word and everyone, whoa, what the fuck? Like, you put it in your song. What do you expect for the person to say? Like, don't put that in your song and bring people up to stage and let it sing. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, for me, that situation is, wrong on two sides. Like, for me, I think the rapper shouldn't be getting mad because it's in their song.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think the person who's singing the song, the white
both
person
are stupid.
Singing the song. Yeah, they're both stupid. Like they should have both known. Like the white person shouldn't have said it, and the rapper shouldn't have gotten mad. It's like an idiot on both ends.
Is it so difficult to not use it in your fucking song? I say fuck all the time, okay?
Yeah,
that's
like,
the thing. Like,
that's fine.
But fuck is so inoffensive, I cannot imagine how people find fuck offensive. Like fuck is like
they're boomers.
Yeah,
people.
Fuck is like an aggressor, fucking something. Like like it just enhances the word, but like it's so inoffensive. I don't know how people can want to bleep that. Like in every think of the children. Fuck the children. They know when someone someone peeps that on TV, they know what it means. What you're doing is basically. You know how this how's it called, the show? Not American Dad, something Family.
The cartoon?
Family Guy skit where they talk about brands, and then they instead of saying McDonald's, they are saying something like McDonald's or McDonald's, something like that. And like. This is the same thing, Everyone knows what they're talking about. Everyone knows. Yeah. Just say the fucking name. And fuck is the same thing. Every child knows.
Yeah. Like every kid knows what that bleeped word is. Yeah, 100%. It's like censorship in America is crazy. Like I always tell people, like if you ever get mad about the censorship, because I will say the reason the whole world is censoring is because of America. Like America is kind of like one of the massive centers of the world when it comes to media.
Yep.
And we have constantly been so behind on our thought processes. It's crazy. And I always tell people like we were a country founded by Puritans. Like the founders of America left England because it wasn't pure enough. They were like, you guys are heathens. We're gonna go over to America and kill people for being gay and kill people for having sex before marriage. So you guys can go fuck off over in England. We're gonna go do this. And then that country ended up being massive and being the center of the world. And people are like, why is America so censorship heavy? And said, well, because we're fucking founded by Puritans, and unfortunately, a lot of the older generation still believes in that crap.
Oh yeah. I mean, I, and that's the weird thing, right? Like there are like certain ideas that are good about this ideology, and their ideas are just straight up stupid. For example, this kind of treating people with respect and so on, that also comes from Puritans, you know. But at the same time, they have some weird, crazy ideas about gay people and people of skin color. Like, what the fuck? It's like it doesn't their own ideology does not compute. Their own ideologies like goes against each other. Like, be kind to your neighbor,
It's
but
like-
those people are not human because they have a different skin color, or they had sex before marriage, or they fuck the same sex. Like, yeah, I mean, if you want, if you want
even in
to,
our Constitution,
what?
even in the American Constitution, there's stuff like that. The American Constitution is like every man is created equal,
Except
those
black people.
They're not. It's like, that makes no sense. It's like either we're all created equal or we're not. It's just like you can't have both.
Yeah.
George or Washington. It's like it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, if you want to shit on religion, I can go forever. Like, this is my favorite pastime. Now
it's like it's a weird thing. It's like I think all religions are trash.
Yeah.
Like, equally.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's just Christians. It's Christians' turn to take the bullet right now.
Yeah. In America, it's the Christians, and Brazil, it's the evangelists, and I don't know. In China, it
definitely depends on what part of America, also.
Yeah, like there's this Christian belt or the church belt, whatever it's called, and then on the up north and
the Bible Belt, yeah.
Yeah, the Bible Belt, and up north and south, and then in the south there are different kinds of extremists. Let's call them I mean, they are extremists, right? Like there's no way talking around that. They are extremists.
Yeah, they're 100% extremists.
Like if
like in America, if you go down to the Bible Belt and you're a Muslim, like you're gonna get treated like shit. But if you're a Christian and you go to LA, you're gonna get treated like shit.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, that's
like,
a weird
America
thing.
Just needs to be two different countries.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's like you have the coasts and you have the middle, and then in the middle you have south and west again. And I mean, there's a geographical reason for that. It's because, for example, on the coast there's more immigration, you know, because people arrive there, so we have more exchange of cultures. So the possibility of someone being extreme about their beliefs is lower. But in the middle, where people don't arrive that much, there is more room for certain ideologies to grow. So, and there's less exchange of culture. So there's more ignorance, and therefore you have those extremes in the middle of the country. It's concentrated. Geographically it makes sense.
Yeah, even like our big cities are on the coast. Most of our big cities are on the coast, and culture is kind of founded in big cities.
Yeah.
So like fashion and like art and music and stuff like that always comes from the coast, and the South and the middle part of the country doesn't get it until like 5 years later. So the South has always been like 5-10 years behind on everything.
Yeah. I mean, there's an interesting thing also.
And it seems like...
No, please continue.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
There's this weird thing about what was first, racism or slavery. You know, do you get the question? What was first?
Well, I think I think they kind of became hand in hand. I think to make somebody a slave, you have to think of them as not human.
Yeah,
as a lesser person.
But if you don't,
even if you don't hate them, like racism isn't always hate. Racism is just thinking of them as different.
Yeah, but
racism is thinking of them as less.
If you already think that a person is not human because of their skin color, is it racist? That's if that's your belief that the person is not a human, like, can he even be racist? But as soon as you acknowledge it's a person, but we still want to hold them as slaves, then you have to develop this ideology. You know what I mean? It's like, I think the ideology the ideology came after they realized, we are actually enslaving humans, but we still want that. It's stupid, of course, but it's like, now we have.
That's the thing is that like I don't know how racism works in other countries, but in America, racism is still very much, they don't think they're human.
Oh, what?
Yeah, like racism, like not like physically human. They don't think of them as like it's almost like Nazis. Like Nazis, like They saw everybody as human, but they saw the Aryan race as superior, and that's how it is here in America. So
right.
everybody's human, but the races here in America see themselves as superior than the Mexicans or the black people
All right.
or Muslim people or anybody that's not white, pretty much.
That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's like I was talking. You know who Boomerang is, right?
Yeah.
Boomerang TKO. I was talking to Boomerang about this, and like the racism in like England, for instance, is very much just like comes out of ignorance, where they're scared of Muslim people because the media tells them they're doing all these bad things, when it's not necessarily true. So the racism comes from fear there.
Yeah.
Here, it's just straight hatred. It's much darker. It's much more angry here.
Ah, man, and I still think it comes from a ignorance, you know, like it still comes from like the same goes for people that are religious extremists, you know, it comes from a place of ignorance. They don't know better, or they don't know certain things, and that's why they believe the thing they believe. I think I mentioned this many times as well. I was a fundamentalist Christian, like kill the gays, death to all the other religions, all this shit. Like a real extremist. Like there's no way to describe it. Now I'm an anti-theist, basically. I'm against every religion. Every religion sucks. And the reason why I believed all this shit is because I didn't know better. I didn't have knowledge. Like I grew up in Brazil, where people are. This is the normal. Being a fundamentalist is normal. Believing in the Bible is normal. Like hating those other groups is normal. So when you grow up in this environment, and you're not aware of knowledge like that exists out there, you don't have the internet, for example. Well, like ignorance grows, and if people enforce that as well, like people are not actively fighting against this lack of knowledge, then you start believing all this shit. So yeah, I still think it's ignorance, even though they might think they are better than the other people. Like they not see other people as humans. I still think it's ignorance. If you can change their minds, I'm not sure.
That's where it gets weird, because it's definitely like they don't, like, even when you try to educate them and when you try to tell them show them where they don't know, they still refuse it. So like it's like almost like willingly ignorant. So like they refuse to learn when you try to help them learn. It's very strange. I used to live in the South for a while. Like now I live in Colorado, which where I'm from, Colorado, which is in America is a very centric place. So like it's not too left leaning, it's not too right leaning. But then when I was 18, I moved down to the South, and it's so weird. It's just like, even like when they come across somebody who they hate, and they won't even like try to learn about it, or they won't even try to change their mind. And it's like I've had people leave restaurants. I've seen people leave restaurants I worked at because somebody of a different race was working at the restaurant that they didn't like. So
what the fuck?
So like so like I used to work at a sushi restaurant, and this guy came in, and he saw that one of the sushi chefs was Muslim, and he just left and like walked away. And then I've worked at McDonald's, and when I was younger, and I had a guy come to the drive-thru and asked if that N-word was working, and I said yeah. He said he just drove away because they didn't want them touching their food because they think they're gross and disgusting.
What the fuck?
And what's also very strange is that because because it's harder to get out of the South because of how the economy works there. There's a lot of Black people in the South. The Black community in the South is huge. Like there's more Black people in the South than there's any other part of the country. But for whatever reason, that place is still the most racist against Black people. So they experience Black people on a day-to-day basis. Like they go to school with them, they work with them, they see them every day. They're in their communities, but they still just hate them, and it's so confusing.
Well, it's a devil's cycle, right? Like it's a devil's cycle. Like economical, it's an economically weak area. So you have because there's economically weak area, you have people constantly enforcing stereotypes, right? Like saying, you see one time someone that has a skin color robbing a bank, like everyone is like that, right? And the people and the people that on the other side is saying, oh, those white people, they suck, they're all racist. So it's both sides constantly enforcing the stereotypes. So nobody is willing to talk the other. Like there's one guy, I'm gonna search for him. There's one guy, he black, of course, and he goes to KKK rallies, and he converted 200 people away from the KKK. 200
Awesome.
just by talking to them. Let me Google his name. This like he's a hero in my eyes, like, and he did this by talking to people, and that's why I think it's more of an ignorance thing, and he could, convince those people to, change. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm under the belief that it's too late for the older generation to change, but it's not too late for the kids.
I don't think so.
So for like like a couple years ago when the whole punch a Nazi thing was happening in America, like the whole it was trending on Twitter and stuff a few years ago. Like I was very much against that. I was telling people it's like no, just go punch a dude because you don't agree with their
you don't
beliefs.
Even know what to be honest, you Americans don't know what a Nazi is. Like you have no clue what a Nazi is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was telling people, I was like, what's gonna happen when you go punch this alt-right person? And they bring their kid to this rally, and you go and they're preaching in front of their kid, and then you go punch him because you think he's a Nazi. like everything this alt-right person is telling their kid is now 100% verified in this kid's eyes because he just saw this person who his dad hates punch him. So but if you show the kid kindness, if you show the dad kindness, even though they're preaching hate to you, it's going to show the kid that, hey, maybe these people aren't so bad after all.
I mean, punching the Nazis is exactly the thing that gives the other side ammunition, right? Like saying, oh, they are oppressing us. Like, it gives ammunition to the other side to claim shit that is not real.
Exactly. It's like I always tell people, like Martin Luther King said it back in the 60s,
Oh, yeah. He and Malcolm X basically
had peace.
Yeah. He and Malcolm X has constantly fights because they disagreed on a fundamental level. MLK wanted to be a peaceful protest, and Malcolm X just said no, get weapons. Black Panther, Black Power, and MLK just constantly said no, stop, this is wrong. Like it's not how you fight fights. It's not how you convince people. Like they have inside their own community.
And Professor X.
What?
So it's Magneto and Professor X.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So this guy, Darley Davis, is a blues musician, and he has it's his hobby for the past 30 years. He has been going to KKK rallies and befriending members, and he has 200 robes in his home of KKK members, like that they give him once they leave the clan. So Darley Davis.
That's awesome.
Yep. Probably a modern hero, a modern Superman, basically, and that's what I think. I think
people should learn about that.
Yep, I think not enough people know.
People shouldn't be glorifying the people who punch people. Yeah, exactly. People need to start glorifying the guys who go out and do violence. Yeah. People need to start glorifying guys like this because this is how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get away with the whole punch a Nazi thing because I think there are situations where you should punch a Nazi, and that's where when they go too far. Like when they start killing people, well, maybe you should consider punching them.
Yeah, definitely it's time to punch a Nazi.
Just really quick. I didn't like the part of the podcast, and so I decided to cut all of it. It was like something around 20-30 minutes about World War II Germany and how stupid Nazis are. But I think I didn't present certain things how it should have been presented. I respect the topic very much, so I left it out. But the conclusion is Nazis are dumb. Okay, great. On with the podcast.
I just don't get it, man. So, what the you can't at some point you have to realize for yourselves, this is, come on, it's like talking to a child, right? Like only children can think like that.
Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of dumb people in the world. So you said you're from Brazil, right?
Yeah, but I live in Germany. I'm German.
So you're German.
I was born in Brazil.
So are you from Brazil?
I was born in Brazil and raised in Germany. Yeah, speak both languages.
So, what's your race though? Are you
mixed.
White or are you?
I'm mixed. I'm black. But I'm mixed. My mom is yellow. She has literally yellow color skin, and my dad is black.
It's because in America when we hear someone who is German and also in South America, it's like immediately. It's like,
oh, you mean like no.
Your family was Nazis.
No. No. I both my parents are Brazilians. They didn't flee or something like that. I'm like first generation German immigration basically. But I lived my whole life.
The story though, it sounds cool. Like
yeah,
just tell people that like my family were Nazis that fled to Brazil.
Well, the thing is
peace-loving person.
The thing is, everyone thinks Nazis only Nazis fled, but it's like just rich Germans fled because they didn't want to fuck around. Like they said, oh, okay, this Nazi party is coming around, we're just gonna take our wealth, because what the Nazi party was doing is just taking the money of the wealthy people and investing that into military spendings. That's it, because the military branch was the biggest part. So they said, yeah, we're gonna fuck off now. We're just gonna take our wealth and move. Like they.
Never mind.
So a lot of people think, oh, it's
weird.
No, please.
It's weird that they chose South America also.
Well, it's
especially the non-Nazis. So like the people who were just wealthy, the wealthy German people, I think it easily came to America. Nobody would have cared.
Well, it's not that actually surprising, because there was trade routes going to South America constantly. So it's not that surprising. It's like a lot of.
See, these are the things that they don't teach you in American history.
A lot of Germans also did go to South Africa. Why? Because they all were already trading because Germany had colonies in Africa. So, like the. But I get it. Like in Germany, we don't learn much about the Americans' history as well. So it's like every country focuses on their history. Of course, everybody knows about the Second and First World War, but that's it. Like nobody learns more than that.
Yeah.
I don't know shit about the American Civil War. Like I know you fought because of some rich dudes, wanted to keep their right to keep slaves, and the other side said, we're not fine with that, so we're gonna fight now. So yeah.
Depending on who you ask, basically yes. There's a whole, like I said, the South believes it was about states' rights and other things, but what it came down to is that it was just a bunch of rich people who didn't want to lose free labor.
Yeah. Well, is this isn't it questions? Like, of course it was about free labor. What? Like, this is even a question. Like, like even the American independence is about money. Like, the American independence is also about money. It's like rich people didn't want to pay taxes.
Yeah.
Like that's what was about.
Yeah. It's essentially what the Civil War was about too, because so Abraham Lincoln and the North weren't all great freedom fighters like people like to imagine them as. Mm-hmm. Like what they just wanted a fuck ton more Americans that paid taxes. Imagine if all these slaves started making money and started having to pay taxes. How much more money America would be?
That's a lot of money.
And that's so they didn't give two fucks about their skin color or about their freedom. They just wanted to make some more money. And that even happened after the Civil War. There was a bill signed. I can't remember which amendment it was that declared that African Americans weren't full humans or Americans. Yeah, they were 3/4 of a human.
What the fuck?
That's like written in our Constitution at some point that African Americans are 3/4 Americans.
How can be so dense? Like, how can you be so dense and believe that shit?
That's crazy. And that didn't change until the 60s, until the 1960s.
Oh God. I just want to take a shotgun and point it at myself right now.
Yeah. So I think that's why a lot of people don't realize that it's really recent for us. That's why the N-word is a touchy subject for a lot of Americans. Because like the more left-leaning people, like we would love it if it was just a word that didn't have any harm.
Yeah, I get it, but then
it's so recent still for everybody.
Why anyone uses it? Like, that's my question. Like, why anyone uses it? Be they black or white?
It's almost like, it's like taking it back. So they started using it. The black community started using it back
taking
when it
back
was still
a
used
weird
negatively.
like it's like for me saying, I want to take the word Nazi back. Like, I don't want that. Go fucking get the fuck out of here.
It's a little different because people weren't being called Nazis as a bad thing. people were being called Nazis because they were doing bad things. So like people were being called the N-word and they're getting shot because they were black, and the N-word was synonymous with being less human.
Oh, it's like
being less of a person.
It's like faggot, right? Like gay people and faggot. Okay, I get you. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
So them using it for each other was taking it back, was taking the power out of it, because they're like, you can't call us this word hatefully anymore if we're calling ourselves that. And somewhere down the line that got mixed up to you can't say this, but I can say this.
Yeah.
So like,
I got you.
So like it's very much, and especially in like, okay, so like Kendrick Lamar is a good example of this. He's one of the people that we were talking about earlier who got onto a white fan for saying the N-word on stage. It's like, when you know his history, like where he's specifically from is Compton. It's one of the roughest parts in America, especially for black people.
Yeah.
It's like that word was just in his vocabulary. That's just how he was raised, and like the world he's from, and what he raps about is where he's from, and like what he went through, and like the story of being black in America. So for him to not use that word in his raps would almost be absurd, because that's something that's very prevalent in the black community.
I get him.
He would almost be lying.
Yeah, I get him, but what the fuck? The white fan, like, it's so difficult to not say it. Like, it's not that difficult, you know? Like,
yeah.
It's like it's stupid for putting it.
It's not that difficult to not say it.
Yeah.
But it's also not that difficult to not get mad either.
Yeah. It's like it's also not difficult to not put it in your rap. So it's like, it's both sides. I would say I would put more on the fan. Like, the fan should, like, you know, like after the first time, it's like, yeah, maybe like tone it down a little bit. But everyone that claims that everyone that claims they didn't say it, they're lying. Completely lying. I never used it because it was never in the vocabulary. Neither in Brazil nor in Germany we use that word.
It's very strange. Like every American who said they haven't said the word at least
the
one
line.
time, or a dumb
The line
kid is a liar.
They're fucking lying.
It's a straight up a liar.
It's like the same thing. Like,
it's ridiculous.
It's the same thing saying, "Oh, I never lied." Like, of course you did, fucking liar.
It's like, so that right there is a lie, because if people lie sometimes, it happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, Drake, for instance, though, Drake uses the N-word so many amounts. He's a Jewish dude from Canada. like I think that he has. Hi, there you go. Cool.
Okay, no. So what you say? You were saying about Drake. So Drake. Yeah,
okay, so yeah, Drake is a mixed kid from Canada who's Jewish.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't have. Obviously, I don't know this for sure, but this is just my assumption. I don't imagine that racism is nearly as bad in Toronto as it is in Compton or in the American South or and stuff. So I don't think that he should be saying it as much. It kind of makes me uncomfortable to listen to Drake.
Yeah, but this but again, it's like, that's what I say. Like, well, he definitely fits the bill. He's black, like me. You know, you want to refuse him to use it? Like, what the fuck? Like, that's my point. Like, nobody should use it, or everybody should use it. But you can't just say, "Oh, I have a certain skin tone. I can say it now." I disagree with.
Yeah.
So nobody should use it.
It's definitely weird. It's almost like
at the same time, I understand the point of, oh, I want to take the word back, like make it my own.
Yeah,
I get that as well.
That's why it's very nuanced in America. That's why I don't ever tell people that. Because I had this conversation a lot with a lot of people, especially since I started doing YouTube, because I've been able to talk to a lot more people not from America. So I never tell people that they're wrong for believing that, even though I don't believe that, because it's very valid. It's very valid ideology. It's just that in America, it's so nuanced. It's so touchy that it's not,
toxic. The topic is toxic.
Yeah.
It's like Nazis in Germany.
It's also like
it's like Nazis in Germany. Talking about Nazis in Germany is very difficult.
And it also comes synonymous. So there's like a line. There's like not everybody who thinks that everybody should be able to use it is a racist, but every racist believes that everybody should use it. So if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I got you. So people that say, oh, everybody should use it, are instantly lumped in with the racist, because every racist would say that. So even if you're not even if you're not racist, someone is actually has a good reason to believe that you are, because you are making the same argument that a racist does. I got you.
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, but that doesn't take away from the argument that it's still dumb from both but from the side of because I have a certain skin color, I can say a certain thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I say it's like a touchy subject, because that line, it's like I've talked to people where it's like you and like they're not racist and it's fine, so you just have that belief and it's a very valid belief. But then I've had a conversation with people it has crossed the line to where it's slight racism, where they are like, and while I'm at it, I don't think that black people are getting shot by cops that much, or while I'm at it, I don't think that
while I'm at it,
white people such a bad thing. Yeah, or people who think that.
Oh yeah, there's always this stat that comes up. I'm a stat guy, so there's always this stat that comes up that says, "Oh well, black people are unproportionately represented in the crime thing," and I'm like, have you ever looked at stats? Like, how do you know how they work? So here's my point.
Okay, so yeah.
So here's my point.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you look at the stats, actually, what they are actually saying is, you have a small group, that means every single person of that small group is a higher percentage.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you have a group of 100 people and a group of 1,000 people, one person in that group of 100 people would mean 10%. Would mean 1%. One person in the 1,000 group people would mean 0.1%. Meaning that if you have only, I think, 13% black people or considered black people in America, every single one is a higher percentage if someone commits a crime. Meaning that this percentage comparison makes absolutely no sense. Like, everyone that uses this stat is like, you're reading it wrong, or you have no clue what this stat actually shows. And like, this drives me bonkers every time. Every time someone brings the stats, I'm like, do we actually know what it means? It doesn't mean what you think it means. You're wrong. You're wrong about the stats.
So, I was trying to explain this to somebody like last week. This guy was trying to tell me. He said, "Well, more white people get shot by cops than black people." And I was like, "Okay, but like that's not how percentages work." Like I was like, percentage-wise, 60% of America is white.
Yeah.
So that obviously they're going to get killed more.
Yeah,
because
relatively
there's more of them.
Like, absolutely, it will be more people that are white are going to get shot. Of course, yes, that makes sense because there are more white people. Stats are not difficult.
I told them, and I told them that what we need to be looking at is what percentage of the black community is getting shot when they're innocent, and what percentage of the white community is getting shot when they're innocent.
Exactly.
So even though say there's like 1,000 black people getting shot a year, which is just way more, and there's 50,000 white people getting shot, that statistic is way more for black people because there's a smaller number of them.
Yep.
So that means like 30% of black people and 30% of white people are two very vastly different numbers. So we have to look at the percentages and not necessarily the actual numbers.
Yeah, but even the percentages can lie, because out of a group of 1,000, every single one, like when you have a group of 100 and 1,000, a group of 100 and a group of 1,000, one person in the group of 100 is 1%, and one person in the group of 1,000 is 0.1%. Meaning that if in both groups, one person commits a crime, it looks like the person with people of 100 people is bigger. Like, they commit more crimes, but it's not true. They commit the same exact amount of crimes. So you have to look at the relative numbers and at the absolute numbers at the same time and look, okay, where's this discrepancy? And that's what drives me nuts, because every time I see the statistics, I'm like, you're reading it wrong. You have no clue what the statistics actually show.
And then these people will also say that crime is a black thing. They'll say that more black people commit more crime.
They can go
and
fuck
that's
themselves.
It's like in like it's not necessarily how it works. Like they're not technically wrong, but what they're all wrong about is not black people, it's poor people. And because of what the American
if you're poor, what chance
done,
do you have? Like, if you're poor, what chance do you have except doing crime? Like,
exactly.
I bet you if I take everyone, a wealthiest person, everything away from them, even their contacts, and put them in some random country, guess what will happen? They will probably
and then because of how they
do crime.
So because of how the American system works, worked back in the day, and it still works now. It makes it harder for Black people to get an education. It makes it harder for Black people to get out of these poor neighborhoods. So the majority of the Black community is poor, and so that means the majority of the Black community is more relevant or is leaning towards crime more. Yeah. But it's not because they're Black. It's not because there's anything different about them.
It's because your social system sucks.
Exactly. It's like so that's what I'm trying to. So I try to explain that to people. It's like where they're at in life is because of us. Like where their community is at is because of things that our ancestors have done. Yeah. And it's our responsibility to try to help them get out of that.
Yeah.
And people will get the argument. Well, it's not our responsibility. It's so much longer ago.
But it is kind of.
Well, I didn't do anything wrong.
It's like Germans claiming it's like Germans saying, "Oh, we have nothing to do with the old Germans." Like, yeah, you still have like the consequences of the acts of old Germans are still there. So whenever something comes up, we should consider helping. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like if you can help, and like even if you don't believe that you had anything to do with it, that it's not your responsibility. Just do it to be a good person.
I think like reparations, like something like reparations, right? Like reparations are kind of weird because who do you pay to? Like this is a logistic nightmare. But I think you could through tax, for example. Like even though you Americans hate tax and you think it's stealing, but whatever, fuck you.
Some Americans, the right Americans, I think that I will fucking gladly give 50% of my paycheck if you give me good healthcare and free college.
I already give almost 50%. And I'm like, it's a lot, but I'm okay with it. Like the tax pay for police, for the military,
exactly.
for my roads, for the people that I don't have to deal with, so that they can take care of all the other shit. Like they pay tax pay for so much stuff, but people don't realize you're paying for service basically. You're paying for having protection of everything basically, and having a structure where you can live.
And then I don't know if it's like this in Germany, but I know like places like Switzerland and Sweden that like it also pays for your healthcare and it also pays for your education system. So why would you not want to give so much, like 50% of your taxes?
I think it's because so unpersonalized, right? Like it's not personal, so you feel like stealing. But in reality, if you would look at where the money is going, you will realize, oh, it's doing something good.
Yeah, and then when you bring up this argument to people in America, or certain people in America, they also say, well, what about the people who don't pay taxes? What about people who don't have jobs? They just get to have free healthcare and don't pay anything. Meanwhile, I have 50% of my healthcare. And I was like, oh, dude, you're a fucking idiot. Like, Americans are just bad people sometimes.
America is like YouTube. Especially, it's the best, worst country. You know? A lot of freedoms and a lot of dumb people.
Yeah, if I ever become successful on YouTube, I'm pulling a PewDiePie and going to Japan.
I heard like some places like Vietnam or Vietnam seems to be a good place for like, and for people that, you know, that don't want to live in their home country, but they are like social media people, because Vietnam seems to have a good living condition. And
see, here's the thing: Vietnam doesn't have anime though.
Of course they have.
I mean, but they don't have like the anime that I've watched.
Oh, okay. You mean the age-rated anime?
No, not necessarily that. Just like stuff like, you know, like Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, okay.
And Fullmetal Alchemist.
I'm currently watching to One Piece. I'm on episode 120 or something like that in the Alabasta.
Well, good luck. You have 800 more to go.
Yeah, I'm in the Alabasta.
You have 800 more to go.
Can we talk about how good One Piece is? One Piece is really good.
I'm definitely not a One Piece hater. It's just I missed it, and so I never watched it.
Oh, we should watch it together from episode 1 again. I would like to watch episode 1 again.
I do not have that kind of time. That is so much. In 900 episodes, like I feel like our One Piece is definitely one of those shows to where, like,
I mean, you can watch it.
You need to have started watching it.
I mean, you can watch it one episode every day, and after 3 years, you might get there.
You might get there. But then what about the 52 that came out that year?
Well, then you just have something to look forward to, you know.
but after like 5 years, you'll finally be caught up. And it's like I'm still not caught up with Naruto either. So like Naruto was one that I tried to do this with. I tried to get caught up with Naruto, and I'm still like 250 episodes before.
I mean,
before it ends.
I think that will reach a point where like one anime that I watched again and then read the manga again was Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter x Hunter is one of the best animes out there, I think. And it's a shame that it never moved on to the secret continent arc because the creator got sick and may he have all the blessings and live a long life. But goddamn it, like this anime is so good. Such a shame that it stopped.
I have very negative things to say about that creator.
Ooh, come on, give it to me.
He is the most weak-willed person in the world.
Wow.
He makes
saying that to a sick person.
He makes great stuff. Don't get me wrong. he makes great stuff. Like Yu Yu Hakusho is amazing. Hunter x Hunter is amazing. But like his anxieties and stuff get to him way too hard. He doesn't handle it properly. He never finishes anything, and it infuriates me because he makes such good stuff. He needs to finish it.
Do you think he's so good that
classics?
You have more belief in him. Like you believe that he can do more.
Yes. He needs to do more.
Or do you believe he's like J.J. Abrams? There's no fucking clue how to make anything end. Like J.J. Abrams has no fucking clue how to end anything.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way. I always just heard that he was just always that like he couldn't handle the pressure of having such a successful IP.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's what happened with Yu Yu Hakusho. Is like Yu Yu Hakusho started getting crazy successful, and the stress got to him, and he couldn't finish it because he got too stressed out.
So Yu Yu Hakusho is not done?
And he had more stuff planned for Yu Yu Hakusho, and then but he just kind of wrapped it up real quick and just never really did what he wanted to do with it.
Oh, okay.
So he like slapped an ending on the end and said, "Okay, it's done," but that wasn't necessarily how he wanted to end it.
I got you. I mean, another one that I think it's like, you know how when something gets so successful that the people don't even know what the original thing is anymore, don't even care, is Jojo.
Yeah.
Like Jojo, like people that watch it and read it, like they love it, but there are just people out there that just refer to it and have no fucking clue what's it actually about. So
yeah, there's the memers and there's the fans.
Yeah, and you notice that really quickly. It's like, okay, they have no fucking clue what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm a Jojo lover, of course.
I'm definitely one of the memers. I'm definitely one of the memers. I've watched the first season.
Okay.
And I was just like, this isn't my thing. And then I just moved on. Like I laughed at it definitely. You know, it was all right, but it definitely wasn't. Like, I didn't like fall in love with it like everybody else did.
The thing is, time to wake up. The thing is, the season 1 and season 3, for example, they're completely two different things. Like they're not even compare. Yeah. They can't even compare. Like first season, second season is similar to first one, and the third season just go bonkers. Has nothing to do with anything anymore. And every season gets more and more crazy. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely get it.
Yeah, I kind of get that from the memes, like the whole like you're coming at me directly instead of like that meme. Like I could tell from that meme. I was like, this show is this show is ridiculous, but in the best way.
Yeah,
I definitely love the memes though. Like the memes that come from that show. Like okay, here's the thing. The to be continued meme. The song, the Jojo end theme. I had no idea that came from Jojo until I watched the first season.
Okay.
So I love that meme. Like I love that meme when it got popular. And that was hilarious. And then like 3 years later, I was watching Jojo for the first time, and it ended that way, and my mind was blown. I was like, "Holy fuck!" I was like, "This came from JoJo's. This show is genius now."
Yeah, there are a lot of JoJo memes that people have no fucking clue that it comes from JoJo. I mean, there are a lot of memes that I see. I'm like, this looks familiar, and then I realize, oh, it's from an anime I watched so long time ago. What do you have animes?
Like JoJo memes or a meme in itself?
Meme itself in general, like, oh, this is an anime. Oh, okay, I got it. But do you have like animes that you started watching, but they didn't finish because it never? For example, Claymore is anime that I think from the 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah.
And it just stopped because it wasn't that successful. But the manga continued. So do you have animes that you started watching but they never finished it in anime form?
It's so many. Like
Too
I
many.
am a massive. I've probably watched more anime in my life than I have any other type of content.
Mm-hmm.
So like the big one that comes to mind is Bleach, because I used to be in love with Bleach. I used to love Bleach. Those first 3 seasons, the Soul Society arc were amazing, and then like I read the manga up until the manga ended, and the fact that the show was just so bad at the end and just didn't finish made me so mad. I was like this is the whole bout arc stuff, and where they did like different like filler arcs and stuff that made me so mad. Like don't even get me started on Bleach.
That's a good about one.
Don't even.
That's a good thing about One Piece. There's no filler. There's almost no filler. Like it goes from one arc to the next. I'm like in 120 episodes, gone through 5 arcs or something like that. So it's basically every 25 to 30 episodes, it's one arc is complete, and you can move on. I could stop. Like the Alabasta arc is slowly stopping. So the next few episodes, the Alabasta arc will stop, and then I just can stop and never watch it again. Like it's genius. It's great.
And another one that never got a good ending, that never got a second season, is called Beck. Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. It's probably my favorite anime. Easily my top 3, definitely.
How's it called again?
It's the show. It's Beck Mongolian Chop Squad.
You have to write it down. I have no clue how to write it down.
Yeah.
Beck Mulan.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Mongolian, like the Mongolians, like
Mongolian Chop Squad. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Continue, please.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of like a slice of life, if you know what slice of life is.
Yeah, slice of life, of course.
But instead of like cheesy girly slice of life, like most slice of life is, this is about like a 14-year-old kid who learns to play guitar, and like it follows his life like through learning how to play guitar and like joining a band and like performing in like school shows and stuff like that, and all the way up to going to like a big music festival and performing at a big music festival. And it's just like such a good story, and it's like such good characters, and the music is dope, and like that it easily became my top favorite anime. And it never fucking ends. Like there's a whole they only adapted the first third of the manga.
Fuckers.
So like they only so and then it gets worse. Okay, and then Tokyo Pop, the company that was adapting the manga from Japanese to English, went out of business before they fucking finished adapting it into English. so like American fans of Beck, which there aren't that many of us because it's really underground.
Yeah.
We didn't get a complete anime or a complete manga. so we're just fucked.
Yeah,
unless you want to read the fan subs.
Yeah, and sometimes they can suck. Fan subs are fine, like I mean, I grew up on fan subs because, and they're decent kind of, like a lot of fan sub people have real talent in translating stuff. But even I notice like stuff that, because I'm learning Japanese, I'm noticed like, that doesn't mean that. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And like with like fan translations of the manga, which I read online, isn't like there's no way of knowing because you don't have the audio.
Could be something completely different.
Yeah. So I just kind of have to hope that what I read was actually the ending. but yeah, the show is fantastic. Even like luckily it just doesn't end and like out of nowhere, like it ends on like a good note.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's not like the best ending, but it's at least a ending. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
For the show. And then it completely changed my life. So like at 16 is when I watched it, and then like after watching that, I picked up guitar and I've played guitar ever since.
And it's one of those early 3D animes, and it doesn't look that bad, to be honest.
It's not 3D actually. That's just their animation style.
No, there are like 3D parts that I've seen. Like
the guitars are 3D.
Like there are 3D parts that I've seen. Like, oh, this doesn't look bad. It looks like belongs in the same universe. Because a lot of 3D anime looks horrible.
Yeah. What's that one? Golden Kamuy.
Yeah.
Where it has the shitty CGI bear in the middle of a great fight.
Yeah. The problem is like two things. When animators start animating, or the producers that produce this anime, they forgot two things. They forget how to do scenery for some odd reason. They just forget how to do it. and they forget to blend stuff in, or they don't have the talent to blend stuff in.
Yeah.
So what happens is like you have this weird camera shot suddenly in 3D anime, but it's like just do the same thing you would do in 2D. Like what the fuck are you doing? Like just do the same thing. Like nothing changes. The rules apply to the 3D space as they apply to the 2D space. But for some odd reason, everyone forgets how to produce. Like the same producer can produce amazing work in 2D, and then suddenly he forgets everything he learned in 2D and doesn't apply the same thing to 3D. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, wait. What is this amazing? What, you're amazing creator. Stop. Just do what you did before.
So have you gotten so far deep into anime culture that you start following the different studios? Like the anime, so like Studio Vogue and like Studio Madhouse and stuff like that.
I don't care about the studios, to be honest. I mean, I know of them. I know when I see like an A1 picture anime, I know like it's gonna be trash. From a story probably. So I try to avoid them. But other than that, I'm just open for everything. And I'm like, let's be honest, like every anime fan is like a trash fan. You love there's a reason why isekai is so popular as it is. Like every anime fan is a trash anime fan. You all love trash.
Oh, yeah.
Like don't kid ourselves, we love trash. That's why we watch it, because it's so fucking bad that we cannot look away.
Says, anime is trash, and so am I.
Yeah, like anime is trash, and so am I. Like don't like everyone that claims to be like a good anime lover is like an anime connoisseur. You're fucking lying. Like you enjoy trash and you watch trash, and you know that. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll tell people all the time that like I like the good anime, the great classics and the modern classics is the ones that are like top notch. Like I watch, like people watch the Oscar movies.
Mm-hmm.
So like I watch the animation, I watch the acting and stuff like that.
Did you watch Your Name?
And I appreciate it for that. Yes, Your Name is fantastic. And but then I'll also go back and I'll watch just the shittiest, trashiest anime and still enjoy it. Like it's like so like yeah, like I can appreciate good anime and good art style and stuff like that for the art that it is, but at the same time, every once in a while, a good harem anime is great. it's like every once in a while, like you want to go back and watch like the trashiest stuff.
Yeah, it's just like a palate cleanser, you know. You don't want to have to think about it. It's just like it's like instead of watching trashy afternoon TV with Jersey Shore or stuff like that, or Teen Moms, or cooking with some weird guy or whatever, we watch animated trash, which is better because animated trash doesn't hurt anyone.
We'll go out and watch like High School DxD and stuff like that.
Exactly. That doesn't hurt anyone. Well, except the animated as fuck. It kind of hurts it. But back to the Your Name. The thing that fucks up that film for me is the fucking time travel. I hate it so much. Time travel never works, and it breaks the film for me. I'm like, please don't do time travel. Please don't do time travel. Please don't do time travel. They did the fucking time travel. Fuck. It just broke the film for me. I'm like, oh, why did you have to ruin it? Stop doing time travel. No, like this is my personal pet peeve in everything. No time travel.
At least
time travel sucks.
The time travel, at least the time travel mechanic in Your Name wasn't all dumb and sci-fi.
Yeah, it's spiritual. I get it.
Yeah, it's more spiritual.
I get it.
So but I'm kind of the same way. I think time travel is kind of whack and usually leads to bad storytelling.
Yep.
But I thought in Your Name, they did it pretty well to where it was subdued enough to where they didn't have to go into so many stupid fucking expositional rules.
Yeah, I mean it's like
when you go back and watch Endgame, when you go back and watch fucking Avengers Endgame, how many times did they have to sit there and explain how the time travel works?
Yeah,
in that movie?
Endgame, like everyone that claims Endgame's time travel is good will be slapped by me. Like I will go to your house and find you and slap in your face. Like this is every time travel plot I've seen is trash. Like even people that say Terminator or Back to the Future, time travel in those movies is still trash. Like they're still bad. They don't work. It's still good movies, but time travel in those films are still bad. Like there's no reason.
Time travel is always bad.
The only anime that did time travel perfectly. You probably know it. It's Steins Gate.
I didn't watch Steins Gate.
So Steins Gate does time travel perfectly. You know how they do it? It's not time travel. It's dimension hopping. There you go. Time travel, and you can't go back to your original dimension. There you go. Time travel paradox solved. If there's no time, if you travel no, please continue.
Have you seen Erased?
No. Should I?
It's very good. It's a very good show. So it's time travel, and but kind of more on the lines of Your Name. So he doesn't, like, the main character doesn't time travel. Like, he goes back and takes over his younger self's body again.
Okay.
So it's like an adult man in a child's body.
Okay.
And the whole reason he didn't choose this, like, it just keeps happening to him. And the whole reason he has to do this is because he has to solve this murder of one of his classmates.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it won't stop. Like, he can't go back to his time until he solves the murder of this classmate. So it's awesome. Like, it's a really good show. It's really heartfelt. It's more like a lot of good heartfelt moments, but it's also a cool mystery.
Yeah, I think that time travel mechanic is close. It's still bad, but it's closer than all the other stuff I've seen. Like, come on, like Infinity. Yeah. What was Infinity? Not Endgame. Endgame's time travel was bad. Like Endgame. Yeah, Endgame time travel was bad. Like, I didn't believe when they pulled it off. I'm like, no, you didn't do. Did you? No, you didn't use time travel, did you? Like, I was in disbelief until the end, because that movie is like emotional payoffs, great, amazing. Story wise, yeah, it's not good. It's bad.
It's not good.
It's really bad.
It's like, and I say that as somebody who, like, loved that movie. Like, when I went and watched that movie, it fixed all the problems that I had with the MCU, and I had quite a bit.
Infinity War. Infinity War was.
I hated Infinity War.
You hated it? Okay. I thought it was like a genius stroke to kill everyone, and I wish they would have stayed that.
So, also I read comic books. So in the Infinity War, the snap is something that we all knew was coming if you read comic books.
Mm-hmm.
What pissed me off, what took me completely out of it, is none of the original 6 Avengers got snapped. They just happened to, by chance, all make it through the snap.
Well, yeah, kind of.
I'm just like, really? Like, really? It's like, and then nobody actually died in that movie either, which is, and so it was a buildup from Civil War, because I was mad at Civil War. I was like, how the fuck are you gonna call something a war with no actual deaths? Like, Rhodey gets paralyzed and he's walking by the end of the fucking movie. It's like nothing. There was no consequences to Civil War.
And I mean, I think.
And then Infinity War comes along. Go ahead.
I think they did it a little bit too early. They pushed it too early. The whole Civil War thing. Like, how many people did they have? 16 Avengers. Like, I don't know a little bit of the comics. Like, you need at least like 100 people each side to make a war out of it.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like a lot of people praise the airport scene, but the airport scene looks janky. Like, there are a few people on this side and a few people on this side on this gigantic field. Yeah, nah. That's not war. That's more like a scramble.
Not a civil war.
Yeah, it's more like a scramble.
Yeah, it's a civil brawl.
yeah, civil brawl.
So the fact that nobody dies in that, really, I was just like, okay, so there's absolutely no fucking consequences in this world. I was like, nobody's gonna actually fucking die in this world, I guess. Then Infinity War happened.
Then people
and
died.
Nobody died in fucking Infinity War.
The Infinity War people died. Not the original Avengers, but people died in the Infinity War. The problem is Endgame. They brought everyone back. Why do you bring people back? Just let them die.
But this brings me to like my knowledge of comic books. Like, I knew because I read comic books that everybody who got snapped was going to come back to life.
I hate that
because I read comics. So like I knew from the get go that everybody who was going to get snapped was going to come back. So, but what I wanted was some deaths that weren't the snap. I wanted Thanos to, like, off some people before he got the snap. Important people, not freaking Gamora only to be brought back in the next movie. Not freaking Loki, who nobody other than females care about. And then not what was it, Vision, who has no character development. Like, Vision just showed up in Ultron, made an appearance in Civil War, and then was just died in Infinity War. He was literally in 3 movies and had no character development. Nobody cares about Vision.
Nobody literally. but we're getting the Black Widow movie that I've been screaming for since the first video, since the first film. Like, great! Now you're bringing a Black Widow movie after I've done with the whole universe, because I don't want I didn't watch Spider-Man, so I'm probably not gonna watch Black Widow. I'm done with the universe. I don't want to watch anything anymore. I'm done. It's over.
Spider-Man Far From Home is so good.
Yeah, I know it's good, but it's
Far
like
From Home.
I'm done. I don't want to. I'm done with it. It's like I'm done with this universe. I don't want to spend my time. It's the same thing with me and Star Wars. Like this month, Star Wars will come out. I will watch it, and this will be my last Star Wars movie I will watch in cinema, and probably the last film I watch in cinema, because German cinema sucks. At least when you live in smaller cities. We don't have like indie showings, or even German films they're always so depressing. Like it's always about there's no German sci-fi, for example. Like it's either German comedy or German depressing stuff. That's the only thing that exists. There are no like cool German action movies or German sci-fi or German whatever. Like those genres don't exist. Yeah. So yeah, I will vlog it probably. Like
Star Wars.
I will watch Star Wars in English, in German, and in Portuguese. There you go.
So the new Star Wars movie is gonna suck.
Yeah, of course it will. Of course it will. Like, what do we expect? Like, a guy that has this mystery box bullshit all the time. What do you expect?
So like, recently, my girlfriend had never seen any Star Wars movies other than the newer ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we started dating, it was right before the newest one came, or the first new one came out. Force Awakens came out.
Mm-hmm.
And like for like 5 years, I could never get her to watch any Star Wars movie because she just it didn't interest her until last week. Every day we watched the new one, and I started her off with episode 1, because I wanted to see. I was doing an experiment. I was like, I wonder how somebody who watches this from episode 1 to episode 6 is gonna like it. And so we watched it all. We watched all of episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And she was like, the first one happened. She's like, that wasn't that good. The second one happened. And she's like, yeah, so I'm not into it. The third one happened. And she's like, okay, that's better. And then the fourth and fifth one happened. And she's like, so those are really good. I was like, yeah, I know. And then the sixth one happened. And now she's like not a Star Wars hater anymore. She actually likes Star Wars.
Yay.
Like, dope. But while watching those movies over again for myself, because I haven't seen the prequels in a long time.
Well, I watch it every year. I watch it every year, so I know. I probably know a few lines by heart, so.
so like while watching the prequels and watching the original over again, it just made me dislike the new ones even more. Like I wasn't like a Force Awakens hater. I thought the Force Awakens.
I wasn't bored with Force Awakens, man. I wasn't bored with Rey and all the shit. I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. And every time she turned and the plot twisted around there, I'm like, can we tone it down a little bit, you know? And then of course, what was the second film? I don't even know what
Jedi happened.
The Last Jedi happened, like.
Yeah. And then I still wasn't, because it had been so long since I've seen him. I didn't like The Last Jedi, but I wasn't angry at it. I was like, this isn't that good.
I'm not angry at Star Wars. Whatever. Like, why should I be angry at the film? Like, I don't get angry. Like, I'm just like.
No. I mean, like, angry at the creator, the Ryan Johnson, the director, the guy who wrote it and everything.
I can even see how someone would like it.
Yeah, I guess I can't now. And then so after going through it and watching them all over again, it made me hate The Last Jedi so much now. I was like, because when you go back and watch them all in consecutive order like that, you realize there's certain like themes and tones and like certain like just how characters talk and like interact with each other, and there's certain storytelling or certain things in storytelling that each movie does. And The Last Jedi just has none of it. Like The Last Jedi is so much not a Star Wars movie. It's like it's ridiculous. Like, and they did Luke so dirty.
And there's
and
there's so many good source material that they could have used. There's this Darth Bane theology that they could have filmed. There's the Rise of the Jedi, like this that talks about the pre-Old Republic era. There are like a million the Old Republic books and movies. There's the Old Republic video games that could serve for movies. Like, it's so easy to make a good Star Wars movie. It's not that difficult.
and then he fucked up. He fucked it up so bad.
It's like
Why?
It is so easy to make a good Star Wars movie. It's not that difficult, actually. Because Star Wars...
It's so easy to make good Star Wars content that fucking Disney XD did it with Rebels. It's like if some fucking nobodies at Disney XD can make a goddamn great Star Wars show with Star Wars Rebels, then why the fuck can't Rian Johnson make a good fucking movie?
I don't know, like
so yeah. And then I've also been, because I got Disney Plus along with everybody else, so I've been watching Rebels and the Clone Wars, because I haven't watched Rebels until recently. And like, yeah, like, why the fuck is like the Mandalorian and like the Clone Wars and fucking Rebels? Why are these animated shows and this live action show way better than the fucking mainline Star Wars movies that we're getting?
I would say incompetence. Again, I think it's incompetence. It has nothing to do with malice or with politics or whatever. I think it's incompetence. Because this narrative,
100%.
Yeah, this narrative is being pushed like, oh, it's politics. And like, I don't think so. It is incompetence. Because why should, like, if like, let's assume for a second this is politics driven, right? Because of politics, this has been done that way. Wouldn't you want a good medium that portrays your ideas instead of a bad medium that portrays your ideas? Like, if I was fighting for a certain ideology, I would have a good medium, like something that people like instead of something that people hate, and then attach my ideas to it, right? Like, that's why I think it's mainly incompetence. It has nothing to do with deep politics, whatever narrative is being pushed.
Like a good example of what you're saying is the X-Men comic books, because like I made the comparison that Professor X and Magneto are Malcolm X and
they are basically actually,
when like they are literally based off of those two people. Like Stan Lee, when he wrote the X-Men comic books, he based them off of those two people. He based the X-Men all after the Civil Rights Movement. Like that's like it's a parallel, exactly. It's a 1-to-1 parallel. But he did such a good job of writing it that people who were reading it didn't see the politics in it. Like there was so much politics in it.
Oh yeah, there is.
But he did the writing so good that nobody cared. Like people weren't bitching about the politics in it at the time.
And imagine there are even women in it. The strongest person is a woman.
Exactly, and nobody cares. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah, I think
it's not something that people are bitching about.
I think everyone loves Jean Grey. I think there's not a single person that doesn't like Jean Grey. I think everyone loves Jubilee as well. Like, I don't know, like Storm. Like Storm is the most liked. Storm is the most liked character in X-Men universe. I think the only
I think the most disliked person in X-Men is probably Wolverine. Like, comic book fans are pretty split with Wolverine. Like, either you hate Wolverine or you love Wolverine.
Yeah, I think popularity-wise, Wolverine is the most known, and second one would probably Magneto. But then close to there, there's Storm. Like, Storm is like close there on the top 3 or top 5 at least.
Yeah, it's really hard for me as to tell who is most known, because to me they're all known. But
Wolverine, I would say Wolverine. Like, even my mom knows who Wolverine is, and she has no clue about anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wolverine is Storm. She knows as well. So I would say Storm is like up there in the top 3, top 5.
That's a good test. From now on, whenever I wonder if people who aren't nerds,
just ask your mom. Ask your mom, your grandma. Like, they will say, "Oh, this Claw guy, this Claw fella, isn't that the guy? Yeah, his Claw fella. That's him. I know him. Yeah. And this exotic lady from Africa."
yeah.
Well, a little bit of racism
my mom
in there.
Would say, "Oh,
a little bit of racism there.
My mom would say, "Oh, Halle Berry."
Halle Berry, yeah, exactly, Halle Berry. Yeah. So yeah, like I don't know, like it's so easy to make good Star Wars content, and somehow they decanonized the whole extended universe. I'm like, yeah, that was a mistake, probably.
Have you been reading the new canon comic books and stuff?
No, because I got one glimpse, and that was one tried to explain how Rey got all her powers, and she basically apparently downloaded the knowledge from Kylo Ren when she got her mind read, and that's how she got so strong. And I'm like, okay, I can believe that in a Star Wars universe. Still, it's bad writing.
Ignore. So like my thought process is with Star Wars, anything after episode 6, I just ignore.
Yeah.
Even in the comic books.
Yeah.
Like I don't watch or read anything after episode 6. So like in the comic books, like I just got into the Darth Vader comic books.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, they are fucking fantastic. Like holy shit. Like I did not expect them to be this good.
And then explain a lot of stuff, right? Like they explain like but his grief and all this stuff, and how he basically knows that Luke Skywalker is coming, and all this needs. I've read some parts of it and like this looks impressive. Also, the art looks amazing, by the way.
Yeah. So the one that I'm reading right now is it takes place right after Revenge of the Sith, right after episode 3, and like it starts off in the operating table as
Mhm.
his armor putting on, and it goes and it explains how he gets his lightsaber and everything, and it explains the Inquisitors and how Darth Vader makes the Inquisitors. And there's a scene when he's getting his lightsaber, and the in-universe explanation for how the Sith get their lightsabers are they
Mhm.
defeat a Jedi in battle. They take their lightsaber after they defeat the Jedi, and then they pour all of their hatred and all of their emotion into the kyber crystal, and it
Mhm.
turns it red. And while Darth Vader is doing that, he has his kyber crystal, and he's doing that. The kyber crystal like pushes back, and it snaps him out of the dark side for a second. So
Yeah.
like Anakin comes back for like a split second after he's Darth Vader already, and like he starts freaking out. He's like, "What did I do?" He's like, "Holy shit! Oh my god! What did I do? What did I do?" And then he goes right back into being Darth Vader. And I thought that was like a genius scene. That I was like, holy fuck! Like this is showing that like Anakin is still in there.
Yeah.
Like Anakin isn't 100% bad. That it is just the dark side overtaking him, and that was great.
Wasn't the old explanation that they use like synthesized crystals because the Jedi had all the planets that had kyber crystals, so the Sith used synthesized crystals, and that gave the red hue? That was the old.
I think so.
That was the old explanation, right? Because I can remember because I remember when they introduced that you got only red sabers when you have to basically corrupt the crystal. And I found that a better explanation instead of just being synthetic, because then it makes sense that a Sith would loathe his lightsaber or loathe lightsabers, or that didn't want to fight with them. It's because they are basically stolen weapons. It's not theirs. So so it makes like from a emotional, or from a ideological driven standpoint, it makes sense that Sith don't want to fight with sabers. Basically, most of the times they fight with knowledge, Sith alchemy, and so on. So
they use the Force.
Yeah, that's why the Emperor just, even the movies, like there's a reason why he doesn't like the saber. He just uses his power because it's much stronger. Yeah,
it's cool. It's like I like it. I like it a lot. Like anybody who's listening right now, like if you fucking like Star Wars, maybe give this a try. It's fucking dope. I have a Darth Maul one too.
Just go to the extended universe instead of the Disney canon.
Well, I mean, like I think it's cool to read the canon right now because like it's almost like watching a movie. You know, like I know when I'm reading it, I know that it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And like I enjoy the parts that like, especially the Inquisitors right now. The Inquisitors are fairly new. They came up first time in Rebels, in Star Wars Rebels. Mm-hmm. And so far they've made appearances in Star Wars Rebels. They made appearances in the comic books, and they've made appearances in the Last Jedi game. Or not the Last Jedi, the Fallen Jedi game that just came out.
Fallen Order or something like that.
Or Fallen Order, yeah. And I played Fallen Order. It's pretty good. I really like the story, and I've watched Rebels, and Rebels is good. So like it's cool to see them all coexist. To see like all the characters in each one of them, you know.
Yeah.
So the Inquisitors will show up. Like the same Inquisitor has shown up in the Darth Vader comic, in Rebels, and in Fallen Order. And I know that this is all canon. I know that like when I see this character, I know what they've been through because of the other media that's out.
Yeah, I mean that's but that's like the good marketing strategy, right? Like if you can have different characters across different medium, I think that Disney would nail that. Is pretty apparent. They are a gigantic company for a reason.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there's there's a variety of quality. It seems that like the TV stuff, and the animated stuff, and the comic books are a million times better than the actual huge customer driver, which is the films and the movies.
Yes.
And like they're
100%.
And like this is a difference I will always make. People can still like those movies, but you cannot argue that they are good. And good, I define as there's logical consistency in the script. It's shot well, which all the movies are actually. So that I cannot say it's not true. And the characters basically consistency is probably the biggest part of it. Like you cannot argue that characters and the movie is consistent. It's like full of actual plot holes that makes no sense, and there are developments in the movie itself that you could cut out and it wouldn't change the movie. Like the movie would still stay the same. It doesn't drive the plot forward. And of course, like characters, so like certain character assassination, changing character for no reason or not showing development from other movies, and so on. Like there's a whole list of problems with it. And people can still like it. That's a problem. Like, that's the difference between I make. Like people can still like it. I don't give a fuck if they like it. People like The Room, and I disagree with that. Like it's fine. Like it's fine liking something. Arguing if that The Room is good by any measurement, by any quality measurement, you would have a problem because that would be simply not true. And it seems that the big customer driver is bad for whatever reason, and I'm just baffled. Like, okay, episode 1, 2, and 3 were, bad, but if you look like retrospectively, it's like this is looking good. This is looking like masterpieces now.
yeah. I was like while watching 1, 2, and 3 over again after watching the new ones, I was like, man, these aren't as bad as I remember because of how bad those new ones are.
Yeah, it's like
but the bar using your argument
is set so
Star Wars movie is good.
Yeah, that's true. Like I said that many times. I said that many times. Even the original ones, like especially the first one, the not Harrison Ford. What's his name? Of Luke Skywalker.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. In the first movie, his acting compared to Sir Alec McGuinness, because Sir Alec McGuinness blows everyone out of the water because he's a classically trained actor.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill compared to him, it's like every time Sir Alec McGuinness is in the frame, everyone fades away from the frame. Like nobody reaches him. Like this is like perfect actor, everyone else shit. That's basically how it is.
Yeah, 100%.
So
and then the writing is bad. Like the writing isn't that good, and then like the special effects aren't that good.
The thing is like consistency, right? Like it's still like in the first two, even the first 3 and the 4, 5, and 6, they are consistent. Like there's no huge plot holes. There are a few like things here and there that don't make sense that I would say doesn't fit the universe, but they're consistent itself. The new ones, like you're breaking everything for no reason. And it's like and that's a weird thing, right? Like John Boyega is like an amazing actor, and in this film is like he's good, but his character has nothing to do. They just whip him out like every now and again, like.
And what's really crazy, there is an argument to be made that our expectations for Star Wars is higher, a little worse than it. So like,
but come on, you're Disney. You can hire like writers that
hold on.
Great. No, please.
So like, okay, so everybody complains about Poe and Finn not having good character development, or not having any, not like people not really knowing who they are. But then you go back and you watch the original trilogy. Nothing about Han Solo is ever said. It's like nothing about Leia's life is ever said. Like all you know about Han Solo from the original trilogy is that he's a smuggler and he's selfish. That's all you know about Leia is that she's a princess and she's strong-willed.
That's why I hate that they brought him back in episode 6. Like, just leave him dead. His character is over. Like he got it through his character development. He saved everyone. Then he said, okay, I actually want to move on. But then realized, okay, I want to save everyone, and saves everyone by going to Carbonite, and just leave him dead. Like that's where the character should have ended. I agree with you. Like the character should have ended there.
It's not just like every character in Star Wars has no character development. Like what do you know about Obi-Wan Kenobi from the original trilogies.
Well, would you say Luke doesn't
He's an
have a
old
character
dude who's a
development?
Jedi. Luke has decent character development throughout the trilogy. Like when he starts off, he's a bratty kid, and by the end of it, he's more mature. But it's still not great, and you still don't really learn much about Luke as a person. Like you don't learn about these characters' backstories. You don't learn about these characters' motivations. Like you have no idea why Luke is doing what he's doing.
Well,
It's
he
just
wanted
because
to
he's told to.
like in the first movie, he says, "I want adventure." Like he wants to go away. That's his that's his
Yeah.
motivation, right? Like, and he does that.
But there's a difference between venturing and fighting in a war.
And the reason why he does that is because he has a boner. That if you actually watch the movies, like, this girl looks cute, I want to save her.
Boner.
Yeah, isn't
That's
that
true? And then
isn't that
and
his
then it turns
reasoning?
out to be his sister.
Yeah, which is the weird part about it. But like, isn't that the reason why? Like, like, yes, it's weak, but there is reasons for that. Like, like.
And it's very thin. Like Luke's
Exactly.
is very thin.
Yeah.
And then same with Darth Vader. Like Darth Vader, like what do we know about Darth Vader from the original trilogy? He's Luke's dad. He's evil. He used to be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it. He looks cool. And
he's
Palpatine. We know even less about Palpatine.
We don't know anything about Palpatine if we don't have the prequels yet.
Exactly. So people complaining that these characters, that Finn and Poe and all these characters don't have any character development. It's like, well, it's like at the same time, the original characters don't have much character development either. It's like,
yeah, I mean, it's
like,
it's a difference because it's thin. Like in the original, it's thin, but it's there. In the new ones, it's like, what are we doing again? It's like losing the plot.
Yeah, so I would say we know just as much about Poe Dameron from the two movies that we have as we did about Han Solo, and Poe Dameron is supposed to be kind of like the Han Solo of the new movies.
That's why I hate that they brought. He's a hot-headed pilot. I hate that they brought the original people back. Like, just leave them be. Like, just make a new universe. Set the thing in the old Republic. Like, I hate it. Like, why do you have to have two Han Solos? Like, just leave it be. Just
right.
Just leave it be. Like, just
I would have liked. I liked Leia. The thought of Leia being a general and being a politician, and her being there but not being a main character. And I like the thought of Luke being a Jedi Master.
Yeah.
Like Han Solo didn't really need to be there, but like
Han Solo should be dead.
A good example of this would be he did die.
But he should be dead in the beginning of the movie. Like, he should have died in some random alley or something like that. That's his character. That's how it should end it. Like, his dad be dead.
Of fitting for him, but
like I hate it. Like the hated that character was Han Solo. It was like, yeah, you're old now. Like you're trying to be the same person. Like Han Solo would have died somewhere in the battlefield or some shit like that. Whatever. Well, I can see your argument that that the whole series has weak character development and weak the whole thing is a little bit weak. The whole thing when we start talking about plots and so on is that, for example, the ridiculous in The Last Jedi is that they can't catch each other in a spaceship. Like, you can do that on land, but not in space. Like, look for another augmentation, please. It's weird. And have this they can follow us in jump space. Oh, now you're retroactively rewriting the old movies. Like, there's a reason why the original movie doesn't have that, because it would be ridiculous, logistically impossible then to get away if you jump. They do stuff, they think they are smart, but at the same time, there's a reason why it was not done in the original trilogy. It's because it will create problems. So I get it. Both
even the original trilogy had issues.
Yes.
So so stop messing with. So it's kind of like shaking a table with a house of cards.
Yes, exactly.
So the house of cards is Star Wars. It's it's put together but very, very thinly.
Exactly. That's why you should move on.
It's very fragile.
Yeah, you should move on to a new table. Do not mess with this shit.
Yeah.
Just move on with a new table. Just build another house of cards.
Yeah. So, but I would if it's done right though, it works, because look at the comic books and the cartoon shit
Yeah,
series
yeah.
in the games. It's just for whatever reason, Ryan Johnson is just fucking bad, and so is J.J. Abrams. They shouldn't have been fucking. They chose the wrong people to be in charge of this.
I mean, it's just really not that difficult to make good Star Wars movies. Like, there's so many source material out there. Like, you just pick one, just take a dice, roll it, and it's like, here you go. Choose the number, the number you throw. It's so easy. Actually.
Yeah.
But I think it's incompetence. I think it's incompetence.
Not even George Lucas can make a good Star Wars movie.
I mean, now
So, like,
now he's being like reinstated as actually a genius person. Like everyone is saying, oh, like George Lucas was bad, but the new Star Wars is even worse. So please, George Lucas, come back.
Yeah.
But people forget George Lucas is bad in directing movies. He's a great world builder, but he's shit in directing movies.
The best Star Wars movies aren't directed or written by George Lucas.
The idea, the universe is written by him, but the script itself not.
Yeah. So Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, I would say, are the best Star Wars movies.
Yep.
And George Lucas did not touch any of those movies when it comes to directing.
Yep.
He's like, they're directed by somebody else.
All the extended universe stuff, all the extended universe lore, not written by him, just the universe.
Yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, also just the universe written by him, but everything else is written by some legendary writer. I forgot his name. Let me pull it up. Did you play Knights of the Old Republic 2 or 1?
I have not. No.
Okay, you should.
It's
really good.
The only Star Wars games like I'm really not, like, I know it sounds like I am, but I'm really not like a massive Star Wars fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've just seen and played like I've seen most of the Star Wars stuff, and I've played a couple games, and I didn't get into the comic book until very recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like this Darth Vader one that I'm reading now is the first Star Wars comic book that I've read.
Well,
so and then the only games that I played were the what's the one it's the one where you play a Star Killer.
Force Unleashed.
Yeah, the Force Unleashed, and then the newest one that just came out. Those are the only ones I've played.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am happy that I will be done with this universe forever. When the next film hits, it's gonna be the last movie I will ever watch. From the Star Wars universe, I'm done with the Marvel movies. Even though I'm fucking hyped for Black Widow because this is a movie I've been screaming for ever. I'm gonna watch it. I'm done.
It looks so bad, dude. Though
I'm done. I'm done with both universes. I'm done with the Marvel universe. I'm done with the Star Wars universe. After that, I'm free of my shackles.
Oh man, the Spider-Man movies are so good. Like, that's what's sad though. Like, fuck Black Widow. That movie's gonna be trash. Like, Far From Home is so good.
Did Black movie? I saw the trailer and just like, it looks like a Marvel movie. Like.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, Taskmaster. Taskmaster is one of the fucking coolest Marvel villains. So he has the ability to pick up on anybody's skill,
except for Deadpool's.
So like, so when Taskmaster watches Captain America fight, he can fight like Captain America.
Yeah. When
he watches Deadpool fight, he can fight like Deadpool. Like anybody, he can fight like that. And they give this character to fucking Black Widow. Oh my God. And like the powerless one, and they make him look like an edgy teenager. Why? Like, his mask looks so fucking dumb. He looks like, okay, yeah.
No, please.
Have you seen what Taskmaster looks like in the comic book?
Yeah. It's like similar to Deathstroke, right? Like I can't remember. It's like, but let me Google it. Like, I know how it looks like, but I think
he looks ridiculous.
Oh my God, Taskmaster, and what do I see? What? Yeah, okay, yeah, Skull Mask. Okay, gotcha. And in the movies, how does it look? Oh, I hate this. I fucking hate this. Okay, here's the thing. There's this movement in movies and TV series that it should be realistic in quotation marks, and instead of just go for there's a reason why the comic books look good. Just go for that. Just recreate that. Stop trying to innovate shit because it's bad. Everything you do is bad. It's already driven to perfection. Don't try to do new shit and think, oh, look at we're so cool with doing new stuff. Like it looks bad. Why? This looks like
even if
this looks
the best
like
one that I heard is he looks like a paintball kid.
Yeah.
He looks like a kid who's trying to play paintball.
Exactly, that's what I want to say. This looks like a paintball helmet. And like, there's a reason why the Taskmaster looks like that. Like the skull mask. It looks cool. Just use it like that.
So even if they want to make it look slightly more realistic, like they could have got the colors right. So like, did you play the Spider-Man PS4 game?
Spider-Man PS4? No.
Yeah, the new Spider-Man PS4 game. Okay,
No,
so the Taskmaster in that looks decent. Here, I sent you a picture of it.
No, I'm looking at
he
Google.
looks more realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just do that. Like.
So
I think it's incompetence.
So easy.
I think it's incompetence, so ignorance, all the incest.
All the incest. It's ridiculous. Like being a nerd is so hard sometimes. You're just like, because you just get so mad about the dumbest stuff.
I watched Inhumans, right? Like I watched Inhumans. I'm like, where are the costumes? I'm like, oh, we want to be realistic. Like, fuck realism. Just go for the fucking comic book look. That's the thing that looks.
Exactly.
I'm just. That's why I'm done. That's why I'm done with all of this. Like I'm every
and
time.
You don't even read comic books, Matthew.
I do sometimes. But I watch.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. Now I read more independent stuff. Now I'm reading the comic book Über.
Yeah.
Über. Well, it's about Nazis.
Yeah. So I really like Image Comics. Image Comics are really good, especially the horror ones.
Well,
so like stuff like
what are they?
Like
they are
Nailbiter and Witches.
They are from I don't even know. It's just independent, I think. Yeah, completely independent. No, Avatar Press. Avatar Press.
That's cool.
No, Avatar Press. They are from Avatar.
Mm.
Avatar is not.
So yeah, a lot of those. Yeah, a lot of those labels like Image Comic Books. I think Dark Horse. I'm not sure about Dark Horse. And then Vertigo before Vertigo went out of business. So like they're the publishing company, but the creator still owns all of the rights to the characters that they're writing, and that's cool. Like so, there's this book called American Vampire that I really like, and written by this guy called Scott Snyder. And Scott Snyder and the artist for the book own 100% of the rights to it. So if they ever wanted to make a movie about American Vampire, Scott Snyder and Raphael Albuquerque, the artist, get 100% of the revenue that when you made off of that.
Yeah, I like.
Think that's great.
No, I like it when creators have
like versus
we have big delay. No, please continue.
So like versus when people who write Batman are like, so these great writers will be on Batman and they'll write these great stories, and then Hollywood will come through and they'll just like jack those stories. They're like, that's a good idea, I'm gonna do that. And these writers will get no benefits from it. They won't get it. They won't make any money off of these writers straight up taking their ideas that were in the comic books. But versus the creator-owned comic books, they get the money. They get paid for it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like it makes sense. Like I don't know. Like it's probably it is probably similar to developers. Because developers, you develop code, right? And that's that's not your code. It's the company's code. And basically, you're giving away the freedom to hold to your copyright of this code for you to get salary. And I think it's a weird who owns what scenario. So I get it why it's done, because otherwise you wouldn't have the ability to make stuff constantly. On the other side, I'm like, yeah, like at least 50%. Like when it comes to this, like this is art. This has nothing to do with like code or something like that. This is art. Like at least 50% should always belongs to the artist. Even the story, the original story is like. But I think it's like the games industry. It's always driven by passion, by people with passion. So they let themselves go into those contracts without knowing what they're actually signing, because, well, it's Marvel. Well, it's this big company. Well, I might have another chance to do it. So they are being exploited, I think, to a certain extent.
Yeah, definitely to a certain extent. Like, luckily, when you like now the comic book industry isn't nearly as bad as it used to be. So
Yeah.
So before, the creators wouldn't get any credit for their creations. The people who created
Same
these
for
characters
games.
think they're like, fuck off. Yeah, but now, like, so if you see a character that was created by a specific writer and artist, you'll see their name in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
so like when if fuck, I can't think of a character. A good example of a character. Oh, so okay, Deadpool. So Deadpool is a Marvel character, but when you go watch the Deadpool movie, it'll say created by so and so. I can't remember his name. The comic book community is going to like ruin me if I don't remember this guy's name. Rob Liefeld. So it says Deadpool created by Rob Liefeld. And for a long time that wasn't the case, and I think that's cool now that the comic book industry isn't as cancerous to work for. So like, yeah, when you're writing for Batman, you're getting paid salary for it, but at the same time, you didn't create Batman.
Yeah.
But if you do want to create your own character. Yeah. So and they get paid for that story, and they get paid and then they get the credit for the characters that they own. So that everybody who writes Batman now, in recent history, will always create their own character in Batman. That way they get credit for it. So I mean,
it makes sense.
So Grant Morrison, he wrote Batman back in the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, and he created Damian Wayne, Batman's son, Bruce Wayne's son. And then the next writer came along and he created the Court of Owls, and then the new creator created Kite Man. So all these creators are going to get recognition and going to get credit. Yeah, going to get credit for these people for that they created.
At this point, do you want credit for Kite Man? Like, shouldn't be ashamed.
Kite Man is so cool, dude. Like,
shouldn't be ashamed of Kite Man.
I love Kite Man. So that's the thing about Kite Man. Kite Man is a joke. Like he's not supposed to be a serious character.
But even as a joke, shouldn't we be ashamed of Kite Man? It's like, oh, do I want to be credited?
Because it's a hilarious joke.
Okay, if you say so.
So like, Kite Man's thing is like always busting into some place, saying Kite Man, and then going hell yeah, and then immediately getting his ass kicked. So like whenever Kite Man shows up, he always says Kite Man, hell yeah, and then gets his ass kicked, and then that's it. That's his whole thing. It's and then out of nowhere, the creator of Kite Man gives him this most tragic backstory. So Kite Man is Kite Man because his son loved kites and his son died of cancer.
Oh my god!
so it's hilarious. It's hilarious. So like the creator of Kite Man is just like, yeah, I'm gonna make this dude a fucking joke, the most useless villain in the world, and I'm gonna give him the most tragic backstory. It's fucking great.
It's like having secure, protect, SPC, secure, protect, contain. Wait, I have to SCP. Yeah, SCP, secure, control, protect. It's like having SCPs, like stories, and then having joke SCPs. That's how I see it. It's like joke SCPs are still like, something that was created, but they're not taken serious by the community. Yeah. And Kite Man I see the same way. Like there's the serious stories about like Damian Wayne and the Joker and so on, and then someone comes around like, look at this, I have Kite Man, isn't he cool? It's like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this creator also created a bunch of other characters for Batman. Like he created Gotham Girl and Gotham. There's a character named Gotham that he created in the Gotham Girl. And those characters are really good. So like they're definitely just like, and then same with the creator of Damian Wayne. He created Professor Pig, who is a complete joke.
Yeah.
So it's like they create their serious characters, but they also create just jokes to have fun.
I mean, and I'm sure.
But why do you want to read a comic book if it's so serious all the time? Like you gotta have some humor.
Yeah, to a certain extent, sure. I mean, I don't know. Like I started collecting a bunch of comic books, but at some point, like especially Marvel, you start to have like this constantly evolving universe where everything is interconnected and you have to keep up. You have to buy a bunch of comic books. I'm like, I don't want this. You're clearly fucking with me. Just give me a contained story, and that's why I go independent for most of the times when I buy comic books.
So Marvel is really bad about that. Like, any real comic book fan that isn't biased will tell you that like Marvel movies are fantastic. DC Comics is better. So the Marvel comics is worse than DC comics, but Marvel movies are better than DC movies.
Well,
because
think,
DC has that. DC will have that big interconnected universe, but they don't do it in a way that will make you have to buy everything.
Yeah.
So if you just want to read Batman, you can just buy Batman, and it's its own self-contained story. Same with every character. Every character has their own self-contained story that you can read on your own. But then they have the big team-up books that you can read if you're interested, but you don't have to read them if you don't want to.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to do it. It's like I don't want to have to. I have the Black Widow and Electro comic books, which are great art. It's like art. Every panel is art, basically what they do. And the problem is like it ends both on cliffhangers for other comic books. And I'm like, I don't want those comic books. I just want to read Elektra and Black Widow stories. Just give me those stories.
Yeah.
I don't want to go for like world-shattering events. Just give me the stories about what characters I want, and I have no choice. Like, and you know, it's difficult for like to continue reading Marvel stuff because just you have to buy all this other stuff to continue with the story. I'm like, I'm done with that. Let's go on. And then that's why I discovered Über. That's like a story about superpowered World War II. That's it. Superpowers in World War II. That's it. It's great. It's an amazing comic book. And the creator always says, "Oh, I'm sorry that I'm using this topic. You know, like it's a little bit like there's like a creators most of the times write like a little snippet of something in the front of the book." And he's always, I'm sorry that I chose this subject. It's very touchy, but I know it's good. it's very not defensive, but like he's sorry for his own creation for some odd reason.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
People should read it.
Yeah, dude. I love. Like, I'll definitely check that out. Like, I fucking love comic books. It's my shit. Like, if people couldn't tell by my backdrop on my videos. Like my whole background is nothing but comic books.
Yeah, there's a wall of stuff there. Do you have also manga?
What does it? Yeah, I have a bunch of manga too, and not as much. Like I only collect the manga of the anime that I like or of stories that I found here and there. So. I have all of Fullmetal Alchemist and I have all of Death Note. I'm collecting Konosuba and then also My Hero Academia and then all of the Junji Ito stuff. Like Junji Ito is fucking amazing.
Yeah, Junji Ito is like a visual artist. His stories makes no sense, but his visual storytelling is very, very good.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like please.
Go back to DC. Like DC does their stuff a lot more like manga than Marvel. So like if you're reading your character that you want to read, like say I'll just give an example of like Scott Snyder's run on Batman. I fucking love Batman. If anybody hasn't noticed, so he wrote 50 issues. He wrote 50 issues of Batman, but there's arcs. So like if you just want to read the Court of Owls arc, you can just read the Court of Owls arc. And if you just want to read the Endgame arc, there's the Endgame arc. If you just want to read the Death of the Family arc, there's just that. But they're all by this one writer and this one artist, Greg Capullo, and they all interconnect. So they're all the same characters and they all follow each other. But then if you just want to read one arc, you can. So not only does it not require you to have to read a bunch of like side stories or bigger stories from other comic books, but you don't even have to read more Batman if you don't want to. Like if you just wanted to read that one arc, you can just read that one arc and then be done with it. You don't have to read more if you don't want to.
I like that. And
manga is very much the same way. Yeah, it's dope. It'd be like fucking tuning exam arc and fucking Naruto and stuff like that. There's like arcs. Arcs are great. Everything should do arcs.
Yeah, that's right. The animes is like that. Like every anime is like that. You can hop in an arc and hop out of an arc most of the times. Of course, if you want to know the complete context, you have to watch everything. But most of the times, you can start an arc, finish an arc, and move on. Like you can stop watching it.
And I love that DC Comics is kind of picking that up. DC Comics has been doing that, and so it makes it makes getting into it way easier because you're not so like it's not so daunting. Like there's not so much stuff that you don't know about. Like you can just pick up wherever you want to pick up, and you'll be fine. And so it's easier for newer readers.
Yeah, I just think Batman's ideology sucks. Because
he
will actively
Batman is the worst part about Batman.
Yeah, he will actively cripple people and say, "Oh, I'm not killing anyone. I'm not killing anyone. I'm just ruining people's life, but I'm not killing anyone." Yeah, it makes no sense.
That's Hollywood's Batman.
Even the comic book Batman, he cripples people.
But I mean, he does, but he doesn't. He cripples people who like deserve it, kind of like.
But even then, it's like Batman, I don't kill anyone, but I'm still gonna send people to the hospital and cripple them.
So like, the best Batman stories have nothing to do with him fighting.
Yeah, it's all it's about the mystery. It's about detective work and so on.
Yeah. So then the whole fighting aspect of it, and the whole him cutting down random criminals, is so. It's old now. Like nobody does that. Nobody's done that since the 80s, and Hollywood loves to stick with that
because that's cool.
So like but it's not.
I mean, like
about Batman.
That's cool because that's cool. That's the cool part.
Yeah,
that people like to
watch.
What
Hollywood thinks. Yeah, he likes to fight, and like Batman still does fight. Like in the comic books, he still does fight, but he's not fighting random criminals on the street. He's not like. He's fighting for his life. Like the best Batman stories are he gets put into a situation to where he has to come out on top against all odds.
Mm-hmm.
So the Court of Owls arc is the secret community, the secret society has been in Gotham for ages, and he's had no idea. And one of the best scenes is they straight up like take him and they put him in this maze for days upon days with no food or no water. And he has to survive off of eating like rats and stuff like that. And it shows him have to like struggle and survive and try to get out and try to figure out how to get out of this massive maze underneath the ground. And then after he gets out, they send just a fuck ton of reanimated dead people to come try and kill him. And he has to survive that. He has to figure out a way to stop them from coming back to life. And so it's like the best Batman stories aren't like him like, okay, pop in, let me break this guy who's selling cocaine's nose. It's always just like, here is this human, this 100% mortal man who has to do godlike things because that's what's required of him. That's the coolest thing about Batman is that he's 100% human, but he can stand toe to toe with people like Superman. And
I still don't like. I think Batman should break like a stick. Like a lot of people put him like, oh, Batman with preparation could beat Superman. Like, yeah, that's true. Every other situation, Batman loses everything. Batman loses every time. Like
the comic books show that. Like the people who make that argument are always non-comic book readers because the comic book shows Batman losing to Superman just as much as Superman losing to Batman. Like
with preparation. Like with preparation, Batman wins every time. Otherwise, forget it.
Not even. Even with preparation, it will show Batman losing.
Yeah, of course. Like it's still a human. I think
there's
one of the best Batman stories I've seen is like the Dark Knight Returns, which was adapted into a cartoon, and that's like that punches that every time. It's very good.
Yeah,
people watch that.
So
instead of watching Batman vs Superman,
Frank Miller's Dark Knight.
Yeah, instead of watching Batman vs Superman, watch that. That's a million times better.
Every comic book fan will tell you that. Every comic book fan will tell you that. Like Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns is a classic.
Yep.
Like I have that was written back in the 80s. That's when Batman changed from punching random criminals to what he is now. And that book is so good that I got some original copies from the 80s that were like mint condition for like $200 a piece, and then went and got them signed by Frank Miller. like that run, that line of comics is genius. Like Frank Miller is so amazing on that. And like not only that, but like Year One. So like he's written quite a bit of Batman.
Year One is also very good.
And yeah, Year One is fantastic also. And that's a good Batman story. Another great Batman story is The Long Halloween.
Yeah.
Where it's written by Jeff Loeb, and there's like almost no fighting. There's some fighting, but like the whole story is him trying to find this serial killer who only kills on holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And the story is told over the time of a year. So like there's 12 issues in the story, and each issue is a specific holiday in each month of the year, and he has to try to figure out and solve this case and figure out who this murderer is, so he can stop them, so these people stop dying. And it's just a great mystery. It's a great noir storytelling, and that's when Batman's at his best. When it's like you put Batman either in a noir setting or you put Batman in a setting where he has to survive against all odds.
So the best Batman stories is when Batman is not stereotypically Batman.
Exactly, and like because that's not who Batman is anymore. Like people's thought of who Batman isn't who Batman is. Like I don't think I've seen fucking Batman punch a random criminal since the 80s, since fucking 3 Robins ago.
Since 3 Robins, okay. I mean, probably in his spare time. In his spare time, he still punches criminals, but nobody sees it anymore. It's like in his spare time, he's just like, let's just punch some criminals here and there to vent some frustration.
Just here and there. He has his Bat family now. It's called the Bat family.
Yeah, he has Batman Inc. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, and like Robin and Nightwing and Batgirl and Red
the
Robin,
5 Robins and the 3 Batwings and
they all take care of the streets now. Like it shows. So like Gotham is split up kind of like New York, if you know how New York is set up. So like New York has Manhattan and the Bronx and all this, all these different boroughs, and the same with Gotham. So Gotham has like Bloodhaven in it, and Gotham has there's another one, and there's each one of Batman's like sidekicks is in each one of these boroughs.
Yeah, I mean,
and low key, I like reading fucking Nightwing better than reading Batman, because Nightwing is a better character sometimes, because Nightwing is human.
I have Batwoman in my shelves. I have Batwoman in my shelf. Problem again, like I got the whole run like 1 to 7, and they jumped around. Like the story jumped around. Like some story was like a year later, and like what the fuck. So I also had to stop. Yeah, it's because it wasn't that successful. So I had to stop reading that as well. Like even in DC, even though like it was more followable, I could follow it more because it was like only about Batwoman, and there was like Batman Incorporated, but that was like something separated that had like connections to it, but I didn't need to read that. Even that, like at some point, like just give me Batwoman. I just want to read Batwoman. Just let me read Batwoman. And yeah, like that's the reasons I stopped reading those comic books.
If the character is not successful, if it's not doing good, then the writing will definitely suffer, because they won't put the best people on it. Like a good example of that is Nightwing right now. Nightwing is like easily one of my favorite characters, and they're fucking him out so bad right now because he's not one of the most successful characters. So they put like shit writers on him, and his story is ass. Like he's this dude's had amnesia for the past 1.5 years. I swear to God, dude. like Dick Grayson hasn't been Nightwing for the past year, and I'm so mad. Like, just give me Dick Grayson back. Give me Nightwing back. Stop with this other shit. Give him his memories back. It's so annoying.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, we could talk about. No, please.
What's funny about this is like I was telling like my Discord earlier, like to get or not Discord, like people. I was telling somebody earlier. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be on another podcast. Like, oh, is it going to be a comic podcast again? I was like, no, it's not going to be another comic podcast. And here we are, fucking halfway through talking about comics again.
I mean, we talked about so many topics, definitely. But like, on the podcast itself, like, a lot of shit came up. Like the whole. I think it's episode 14 or 15. This one, I figured out in post.
Yeah.
But it talked about religion, politics, and the first episode actually is about communication, because I had a communication expert on it. Like education and world and different cultures and all this stuff. That's the point of the podcast. Like, you can talk about everything without having like a constraint. Of course, I have like a few lead questions here and there, but like for this podcast, I have a lead question here and there, like of topics here and there, and that's it. Like the rest is how the guest rolls. And if the guest takes over, like the Touzel episode, Touzel just took over the podcast. Like I loved it, like, because once the guest starts rolling with the topic they want to talk, like I love it. And if comic book is like your thing, that's great. Like, let's make good content. and stuff like people can agree with. And having two sides, for example, I might disagree with you and you might disagree with me, is like a good way to have conversation, and let the viewer decide what they think, and once we present our points. And that's me. That's how I think. I might be wrong on everything. I'm just a guy on the internet.
Just a guy on the internet. Back to Touzel. Touzel does that with everything, and it's great.
I love Touzel.
Like whatever Touzel does, he takes it over completely. It's great. So like, I remember I had this video I was gonna do about on Boomerang, just like a troll video, and before it fell apart, and like I asked everybody who was gonna be in it, I was like, yeah, just send me like a minute or two of content, and I can add this video. Fucking Touzel sends me like 10 minutes. Like what was so bad about it was that like I couldn't cut any of it because it was all gold. Like all fucking 9-10 minutes of it was so funny that I couldn't cut.
I do not know like how Touzel hasn't picked up that. Like it's so weird to me that Touzel is like still like, let me look at it. Like it's so weird to me that Touzel hasn't like picked up hugely, but that's how it is. Like yeah, it's still he's growing, of course, but like, come on, dude. It's like give him some. It's so weird that it doesn't grow like exponentially. You would expect like him to like next year he is at 10K. I'm sure of it. Like if it's not, then there's something wrong about this fucking system.
What's even crazier is his audience retention. So he's like so likable that like everybody who watches him will subscribe.
Yeah.
So like you look at his views on his videos, he doesn't have any videos like my Sadass videos that get like tens of thousands of views. But like all of his videos will have consistent views, so they'll all have like either like from anywhere from 500 to 2K views.
Yep.
And then he'll gain subscribers off of that per video, and like so he's able to fucking outpace me without nearly as much fucking views as me because he can fucking keep his audience way better than anybody else.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to turn this into another Touzel fan episode. Oh, what's that?
Well, like me and Touzel actually butt heads so hard. Like whenever me and Touzel talk, it's like it ends up in a massive argument.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's like me and Touzel have like mutual love and respect for each other. Like me and Touzel, like I can't speak for him. I don't know how he feels about me, but I definitely think Touzel is like a fantastic creator. I think he's hilarious, and as a person, I think he's great. But whenever we talk, we're just so fundamentally different that we always devolve into debating and arguing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's better to have arguments and discussing ideas, than not having it. Like just being neutral and everything is also, I think, a bad thing.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why, sometimes I disagree. Sometimes I disagree with everyone, and sometimes I call everyone dickheads. That's okay. I think that's okay.
I would not call Touzel a dickhead. I said, it's a very strange thing. I like Touzel. Like definitely as a person. Like I want the best for him. I love watching his videos. I love him as a creator. But for whatever reason, when we talk, we're just always on the opposing sides. It's like we don't dislike each other, but we always disagree.
I mean, one of my internet buddies, my best internet buddies, is like Catholic, an installed Catholic. Like he believes wholeheartedly. Yeah. And I'm completely different. I'm anti-theist. So like completely opposed to the idea. Like we can still talk to each other. Like we still understand each other, and I think that's good as long as that still exists. Yeah. Like as we can have civil discourse, as long as that doesn't break down, we can still understand each other.
And that's always important. It's like to know where the lines are with debates and arguments. Like once one person is done, I think it's important to not push it anymore.
Yeah, but
so whenever you're debating with somebody, if that person's like, all right, I'm done. Like I don't want to talk about this anymore. Then I think that should be respected. We are
already at 3 hours. Oh, what the fuck?
In summary, go subscribe to Touzel.
Yeah, but as a last question, like always, I ask the people if there's, for people that are starting a podcast or a podcast or YouTube channel right now, what advice would you give them?
Find what makes you stand out. what makes you different than other people, like always ask yourself, like, why would people be more interested in me than somebody else who does the exact same thing as me? Never be satisfied with your quality. Like, always think, like, if your lighting's okay, always think it can be better. Always think that your visuals can be, in your audio can be way more crisp than they already are, and always strive to get better at it. And also, don't be scared to promote yourself. Like, go on Reddit, figure out how that shit works. Like, if you're just uploading to YouTube and you're not promoting yourself at all, you'll never grow.
All right, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, want to share your stuff? Share your stuff. Tell the people what they should do with their subscription, maybe.
Maybe subscribe to Touzel. So yeah, you can find me if you liked what I said here, and you didn't think I was a fucking idiot. You can always find me at IAreZack everywhere there's social media, like Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, YouTube. Just IAreZack.
All right, good. Also maybe get him on Patreon. Give him money. Give IAreZack money. All right.
No. Watch my stuff first and then decide.
Yeah. Watch first and then give him money. All right. Thank you for coming on, and for everyone that is watching, take care of yourselves and have a nice day. Bye bye.